Ring, ring, ring. Hello, Simpson Virgin.
God damn it.
And welcome back to Krown's magical prediction cave. Also, I want to congratulate everyone who came out of the closet today.
Oh, yes, that's exactly right. We are oh so progressive today. And today we have Ryan Finney saying, I am gay. And you know what? We're all a little bit gay here. We're gay for fucking TA. And that's exactly why we're here right now, to look at this goddamn magic internet money business. But before we get into that, I'm officially qualified. I have a NFT. I have a fucking NFT, which is great. And Elsa, the best thing about an NFT is that Elsa's jealous as fuck. And it's like, stop talking about your stupid fucking koala. Yeah, bitch. Well, look at my goddamn Hawaiian shirt koala with laser eyes. Holy fuck, man. I fit all the goddamn memes into one right there. And I'm very, very proud of this one. Massive thank you to Mr. Ilya for getting me involved with that one. I hope I'm saying your name properly there. My Russian good friend. And I'm not a simp. I'm a koala, you fuckface. Anyways, with that in mind, let's get back on over here into the Krown chain application, which by the way, I'm only selling it for 99 Ethereum. No, you can't even fucking buy it. The second that someone even offers around there, I'm pulling it. You can't fucking buy it. I'm not fucking selling. Anyways, with that in mind, let's get over here to the Krown chain application, which can be found at app.krownchain.net. And I need to turn off the alerts right now. We'll get to that a little bit later, Mr. Jeremy R. Unfortunately, though, I would appreciate if we just did, one at a time because, well, time considerations, of course. But that's all good, man. Anyways, let's get into it right on over here. Again, this is 100% free for an application. You can find a link in the description below. We have the most free quant data in all the interweb lands. And what do we see that is new that was not here yesterday? We do see a little bit of a downturn in Bitcoin dominance. We did say that yesterday. Probably still looking at a downtrend in overall Bitcoin dominance. However, I would be preparing for a bit of a bounce there relatively soon. And then Fear and Greed Index also coming down a few points to a 73 read, which is still within the greedy-ish zone. Other than that, though, not too many new things over here. And in the top 10 winners list, top 10 losers list, we actually see a rather muted day for what it's worth, especially in cryptocurrency land. The only big winner is double digits right here, Tezos and Ravane. And then a lot of 2017 shitcoins here. We got Scicoin, Zilliqa, Decred, and Dash. I don't necessarily think Decred is a shitcoin, but the other one's definitely reminiscent of 2017, 2018. Perhaps we're seeing rotations, and that would maybe not be good for the boo laws right now. Anyways, over to the market data tab we go. There's a couple very, very important things right here. The biggest one going to be the global exchanges net flows, as we do see perhaps the biggest negative outflow realistically since the major July flight from exchanges, which was taking out almost 58,000 Bitcoins, which is fucking insane, actually. I know these are a bit event driven as well, but it does still matter at the end of the day as well. And whenever you're taking Bitcoins off exchanges, what are you typically doing with them? Well, you're probably holding them. No, you're trading them with local Bitcoins if that website is like still operational. Other than that, though, the global funding rate has actually come down, surprisingly enough, which is very bizarre here. Still in an overall uptrend, but nothing too concerning right there. I do still look at that as more or less a healthy market. And we do see the next downturn in the exchanges reserves. That is obviously going to be running off of this over here as well. But this is really confirming the actual downtrend. And we do see a bit of a lower high in the leverage ratio. Both, somewhat good things for boo laws, but do need to see fall through from there in order for that to be a little bit more, accountable. On top of that, we do see open interest as pulled back a little bit right there, which we did see this go up in the last 2 days when essentially Bitcoin pulled back from $50,000 to almost $47,000, our lower end target from yesterday. And so what does that essentially imply? It does imply that we do see a bit of profit taking, but also a bit of short positions being added onto this. So that actually does mean that if you do want to squeeze a little bit of shorts, you have a few positions to do it right now, but not anything too amazing. And more importantly, with the open interest, I actually would be looking for a bit of a pullback from this relatively soon, maybe even sooner rather than later. But again, it is still an overall uptrend, so I would be looking for that to put in another higher low, and then very likely we'll continue on with the party, as this is still from an underlying market dynamic standpoint more or less good. Anyways, into the price action charts we go, and we actually have a very, very easy day today. Now, usually things are not this obvious or this easy, but this is just one of those days where the trading gods have blessed us all. And so let's first and foremost get on to what we spoke about, or sorry, follow up on what we spoke about yesterday. We did say yesterday, I was kind of like not necessarily too enamored with this price action right here. We said, hey, look, if Bitcoin breaks back down below about $48,000, I would look for an extension about $1,000 lower. We got just about there on BitMexico. I think I was saying a little bit below 47, but just stabbing around $47,000 on BitMex is close enough in this case. And then a nice little rally up to $49,000. And in fact, actually took out the $49,000 target with a little bit of an extension all the way up to about 49.4, which is good. However, we do have two things going on right here. And today actually is a really, 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 really important day when usually, things are not as important and maybe not even as obvious as well. But what do we have right here? We have a very obvious range on the short-term timeframes. But the problem is, or not the problem, the very good thing about this range right here is that there's a very, very obvious resolution on both sides. With Bitcoin essentially rejecting 49,400 or so in the early morning hours, we do now have a potential lower high on the short and medium term timeframes being baked into price action right now. Now, with the advent of this price action right here and this test down to about 47.5 thus far, the reaction has been pretty damn good. And as long as Bitcoin does hold right here, essentially around yesterday's lows without breaking lower on preferably a 2-hour closure, you could use it would be more dependable to use a 4-hour as well. But I do suspect that it would be prudent to be a little bit more quick in this situation. In fact, even an hourly below, let's say about 47.2, yesterday's low essentially would probably do this as well. Then I would be looking for continuation down to our next daily target, and that can actually play into the higher term timeframes, obviously. And that's going to be just right in between the 200 simple, that white moving average right there, and the yellow 21 exponential average as well. However, for the BULAs, holding right here would be extremely good. And of course, you will be looking at an upside resolution on this being, essentially a bit of a short-term trap actually, with any sort of even a 2-hour closure back above about 48,650. Your obvious area for continuation is just going to be above the wick high as well, and then I would be looking for a retest of the current highs at about 50,500, and then very likely that push up about $1,000 higher before the next sort of short-term pullback, and very likely the next move into the deeper $50,000 territory. Probably not this week, but probably early next week if it is going to happen. I've been saying based off the 5-day that I would be looking for that move to very likely occur within the next 5 to 10 days. That was 3 days ago now, so we could say maybe that's more like 6 to 8 days now. So I do still look at this as more or less important, and the higher term timeframes still look more or less good to myself. However, below $46,000 now is where things really do start to change around. So understand where the risk is on certain and specific timeframes, because the daily trend does matter quite a fair bit for Bitcoin. Now, with that in mind, Bitcoin is based off the red 10 simple right here. So that is, to be expected in very, very strong markets. So it is relevant to think that if you are bullish from this area right here, this would essentially be it for the general pullback, and before looking for a move to about 51,500-ish region before the next short-term pullback from there. Anyways, momentum oscillators, what do they say right now? A little bit more on the bear side, to be fair. On the daily, however, we do not see any sort of potential hidden bullish divergence building up right now. That would be a bad thing for the BULAs, obviously. But again, this pullback is coming on declining volatility. We are still not seeing the moving average flatten out and get a positive slope. So I'm still inclined to say that this is, going to very likely chug its way along. And if we do take the downside resolution of this, $46,000, I'd be looking for a nice bounce there. And then does that bounce get sold into or not? That's where things start to get a little bit more nasty, a little bit more shaky. But I'd like to see that first before actually, going forwards from there. We're going to get a little bit too much into crystal ball bullshit thinking. And for what it's worth right now, Bitcoin is holding up at the basically like $47,000 level completely fine, at least for what it's worth. Now, I'm sure, yes, on the 12-hour, we do see more or less the same setup as well from BBWP. So volatility still down on the floor right here. And again, if volatility is on the floor on the 12-hour and daily, and we go down to the short-term timeframes right around here, I do think that does strengthen the BULA's case that we probably do hold at about 40, our current low is about 47,000 and some odd change right there. But again, regardless of my thoughts of that, the areas for, bless you, sir, the areas for changing around these opinions are very, very well documented, and that is what trading is about. So just understand your risk if you are trading this one right now. The obvious areas to the upside, again, on a 2-hour closure would be about 48, let's say 48.6, or just a wick higher than our current high of today, which is 49.4, and that would get continuation onto the current high of this rally, and then very likely another push into the 51,500-ish region. And then if we do take out the current low side structure, then yes, I would be looking for a nice move down to about $46,000, very likely a bounce there, and then come back to it and analysize it from that time point. Anyways, over here into our momentum charts, let's see if we can come up with any sort of more interesting biases for the time being. And what do we see? Okay, I'm on a fucking 30-minute. What the hell is that? What is going on right here? Anyways, let's go on to the 4-hour right now. Let's see what we're looking at right here right now. And 47,500 is the magical number for turning down Stokes on Bitcoin right here, and that would imply that we'd actually be heading within, being kept within the bearish control zone, which would not be good, obviously. And this is again coming on declining volatility, so I do put that a little bit more in favor of the BULAs right here. And what do you know? 47.5 is where that'd be essentially closing on new 4-hour lows. So you'd have both essentially a break of structure plus momentum turning in the same direction. Could you front run that that 47.2 level that I gave out earlier? Probably yes in this case. I do think so. But again, from an RSI perspective as well, I do look at this as first and foremost, probably reaccumulation here. It's just, looking a little bit trappy for the time being. But if we do go down all of the other lower term timeframes, I suspect that we will see uniformity between these regions. And actually 3-hour Stokes will remain to the upside as long as above $48,000 on a closing basis. Currently trading about $200-300 below that right now. By hourly, it's going to be showing what? It is down as long as below 49. So probably not flipping around anytime soon. And hourly is showing 49,250 at the current moment in time as well. So what does that likely align with? If it is going to be bullish, you're probably going to spend a little bit of time at these lows right here, probably trade sideways, for the majority of today. And then I'd look for an upside resolution late today, maybe tomorrow, something like that would be about right. Anyways, with that in mind, let me get back on over here and let's check out the medium-term time frame and see what we're operating off of at this current moment. And 12-hour Stokes actually will be to the downside as long as below $50,000. So that's probably not turning around anytime soon. Again, if this is going to turn around, I don't think it happens like intraday. I think it happens around end of day. And daily, it's actually going to be down as well and actually losing the critical zone here, which is at least in my experience, kind of a big deal as long as below $50,000 as well. So we do see uniformity between those two levels, which also does imply, above there on your medium and higher term time frame is going to look pretty damn good for a push into not just 51,500, but very likely $55,000 and beyond. So things are changing around a little bit right now. That is trading after all, but at the end of the day, again, if you are on the, even if you're on the fucking hourly right now, the ranges are so well defined that this is actually kind of a trader's dream, especially if you are a range trader right here. And with that in mind, I suspect that we could get on into a little bit of traditional market analysis right here, just because I do think that, as long as traditional markets are strong, I do still look at this as like a risk-on environment. And when we look at NASDAQ, what do we see? We see another new all-time high yesterday. Today, a bit of a pullback. That's completely fine. Would I be expecting a little bit more on this pullback? Actually, this is actually looking decent enough right here for a little bit of a short-term bounce. If it does want to pull back a little bit more, I'd be looking at 15 to 80 or so. But for right now, chugging alongside was completely fine. And we really need to be preparing for the weekly and monthly closures, as weekly is obviously tomorrow on Friday, and then monthly is going to be on next Tuesday, actually. It's the 31st, so the last day of this month. And for right now, for what it's worth, this is not a bearish chart at all. It's a really fucking extended chart, don't get me wrong on this, and I would be looking for a 20% correction probably later this year, maybe October, November, in that vicinity. But for right now, if it does close anything like this above $50,000, that is going to look like continuation to me. Same thing on SPY futures over here as well, even a little bit stronger. I think we grazed up towards 4,500 yesterday. Yes, indeed we did, getting a little bit of a backfill right now. So this one would suggest that we probably do try for another higher low somewhere in the vicinity where we're currently traded right now at 44.86.5, perhaps even all the way down to about 44.80 even. Either which way, that is still higher lows on a fucking hourly, and I would be looking for a general continuation into the end of the month and very likely new all-time highs in September once again. So the risk-on environment does remain, and that is oh so great. That is oh so great if you want to trade highly speculative assets like Bitcoin and, more importantly, Koala NFTs, which is great. Anyways, looking at this right here, again, if SPY wants to pull back, I'd be looking at 44.73 for a little bit of a bounce. But for right now, I would be all eyes on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going to be testing the downside of this region once again. Let's see if it is, or let's see if it comes in contact with the blue box territory. Could you do it? Is it going to do it? Is the real question. And it looks like we are probably going to do this even on stream. So there we go. We might even see a little bit of action right here if it does actually break down. Again, break down on new lows, and I would be looking for a move all the way down to about $46,000. Very likely a bounce there, and then come back to it after that. But for right now, I do still look at this as somewhat okay, but it is starting to lose a little bit of its luster, especially in the short-term timeframes. Anyways, okay, cool, all right. Oh dear Lord, man! It looks like the hex chat has already begun in the chat box. Oh dear Lord, what the fuck is going to happen now? That's the only thing that brings out more animosity than the old C word on this on the YouTubes here. Anyways, I do want to check out my testnet positions as well, especially for Scott Barney over there, and I'm still holding my $33,000 long. I will start to cover that below $46,000. Like with some very, very deep in the money calls, probably around the $40,000 strike, presumably speaking. And my options are doing very well, printing about about 6.25 P&L right there for Bitcoin. looking good, looking very fucking good actually. So I'll take that, and I think we'll go back on over here. Perhaps we'll see if there's anything on my secondary charts as well. Again, I mean, this is not bad actually from a secondary chart perspective. Oh, that's right, I completely forgot to do the most important thing. That is look at goddamn CME. And what do we have on CME that might not be present on spot price action? No, nothing right there. At least I wouldn't say. 12 hour. Okay, 12 hour. We do have something a little bit interesting right here. We do have a drive of hidden bullish divergence. That was confirmed on the last, on the last 12-hour low. However, is that going to be one of the bad signals on this one, or did we already play this one out? Because that was about a $2,000 move right there from bottom to top. Again, it would actually be the same resolution to the downside anyway, so going over that is kind of a moot point. And I think CME shows this one a little bit easier as well with major movement averages. You can see the 200 simple and 200 exponential average kind of governing the bottom side of this right now at about 47.3 or so. So I'm going to mark that area off right here. If we do lose that region, I wouldn't be looking right here. I'd be looking, like I said, much lower probably on this one, somewhere down around the 21. And that is just, actually, this one's significantly lower than what we see on spot price action. So CME showing a bit of a different look right here, which is not the, it's showing a little bit more of a short-term bullish look, to be fair, which makes me want to consider checking out the momentum offsetters over here. And let's see what we got going on. Daily Stokes will be crossing down with any sort of a closure below 49,250. 4 hours going to be showing what? Going to be showing up as long as above 47,420. Which is a great number right there. But more importantly, that is, of course, the bottom side area of our current range. So if things do start to close below there, obviously you're going to see momentum turn back down. You're going to see 4 hour Stokes remain in the bearish control zone. And yes, I would be looking for a drop off, a decent sized drop off down to about 46,000 bucks at the very least. Very likely a bounce there, and then come back to it after that. Buy hourly is going to be showing what? Down right now as well, as long as below 49. And hourly is going to be showing what? 49,400 or so. So best case scenario for blue laws right now in the short term timeframes is sideways, just not breaking down. And then hopefully just keeping it around until end of day. And if that can happen, then yes, I probably would be looking for this one to be a little bit of a trappy situation. Again, confirmation of trap in this situation would be a 2 hour, even an hourly closure above about 48.7, but a bi-hourly closure above about 48.6 would do it for me, or just a wick higher than our current high of, I believe of today, actually. Let's see, is that the same? Yeah, today and yesterday, pretty much the same thing, 49,300 or so versus 49,400. So in that case, that would be looking pretty damn good. So it should be a pretty damn good day for good old scalp traders like myself. But for trend traders right now, well, you do see a bit of a potential reversal in your very midst. There was actually a really good conversation in Discord yesterday where someone was asking about the 4 hour trend on CME specifically. And actually now you do have a potential reversal on the 4 hour. And if you were to look at this from just a trend perspective, how would you chart this out? Well, you have your low here, you have a high here, you have a higher low right here, you have a higher high right here. Okay, uptrend. But now things are changing around a little bit. We do see that we do have a low right here. Okay, that's fine. That is still a higher low. However, what is this right here? That is your first lower high, actually, potential lower high, which will be confirmed as a trend reversal if we do what? If we take out the current low. And the current low is where? Guess where? It's fucking low, $47,000 as well. So a lot of things coming in line with that. And also the 55 on CME chart as well. And again, just as an aside, like CME chart, a lot more obvious right here. A lot more fucking obvious than spot price action. So if you are struggling, I would suggest looking at CME. I understand that there is going to be a bit of a premium difference between CME charts and of course spot price action charts as well, but this is I do think the way to be going, especially within this market, and the hourly is even a little bit more obvious than this right now as well. So I do suspect that there actually is a decent chance of a bit of a short-term bear trap right around here. In fact, that's actually what I think is probably going to be happening, but fair enough. The day will reveal all, and perhaps it's time to get into the comments right here. I'm going to turn on the alert system. There we go. Okay, a little bit of a shorter intro today because things are actually pretty damn steady right there. It's actually kind of nice to see when things are obvious. Anyways, let's see what we got going on right here. What's up, Mr. Jeremy Ahar? Welcome to the cave, sir. He wants to look at axes. Okay, we could look at Axie, what is it? AXS? Yeah, that's it right there. Let's see what this one's doing. If this one's pulling back, that's probably not a good sign. Yeah, this one's actually losing its structure right here. Short-term down. So it looks like we did break. Yeah, we did break below the 55 yesterday. Okay, not good on this one. I would be looking for this one to trade a little bit lower, at the very least intraday, somewhere down around 66.80 or so. And then from there, Well, from there, could we be looking at a bigger reversal right here? No, I'd look for a bounce first at around 65 to whatever the number that I just said earlier was. I believe it was where it was about 65 and a half or so, anywhere around there. I would be looking for a bit of a bouncy bounce. However, if you do start to lose that level, would I say on a 4-hour? No, I think in this case you should use a daily just because this is a pretty monumental trend and this is a higher term time frame macro move right here. But if you do start to close below there, then yes, I would be looking for deeper retracements, very likely somewhere around about 53 to 54 bucks. Let's see what the Fibonacci retracements would say on this case. Yeah, about 50 to 54 and a half is kind of where I'd be looking for a bit of a bounce if that area does break. But short term, yes, down. Do need to see a bounce somewhere right around the 65 to 66 region, and then come back to it after that. But yeah, this is looking like a bit of a reversal right here as well. We have the same sort of thing going on as Bitcoin. Here's your high, here's your low, here's your potential lower high. So if we do make a lower low below this guy right here, then we do have a bit of a 4-hour reversal on our hands. Daily's nowhere near reversing, to be fair. I mean, we still have quite literally an uptrend as long as this thing's above. I mean, this is just not helpful right here, but above about 41 bucks. So that makes trading that trend a little bit difficult. But here we go. It looks like Bitcoin's going to be testing around the bottom side of our $47,000 region. It is up to the Bulas to hold it right here, right now. Otherwise, the red dildo party gets beginning, and perhaps even gets beginning on stream, which would be rather fun to watch together. Hold our hands, support our brethren, and watch this price action follow through. But for right now, I actually would be looking for a bounce up this level. First and foremost, pretty damn easy, or usually a short-term scalpable region for what it's worth. Anyways, let me just make sure that my own scalping behaviors are going well over here. Okay, good. I think we are good right there. Okay, and let's make sure that actually do this position right on stream. It's difficult for me to multitask. I think I have like some sort of disease where I can't do that, but but there we go. The disease is called "You're a Man," says Elsa. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, I think I got it right there. Let me just make sure that I got my exit. All right. Okay, beautiful. And let's see, where's my risk? Okay, well, that's gonna be a little more difficult right there, but there we go. Okay, and ready for the next one, sirs and sirs. There we see. Oh shit, you can't see the logo on my shirt. Actually, I'm wearing my own shirt right now, so I am that douchebag. wearing my wait, no, where's, oh, it's right here. Wearing my own logos and whatnot. Actually, I have my own hats as well, which is great. I fucking love it, man. Anyways, we got Jack Hessiman. What's up, man? Ethereum, Bitcoin. Okay, short and medium term. Yeah, let's check it out. Let's see what we got going on right here. Ethereum, Bitcoin, 6.6 million Satoshis. Uppity up, short term. I'd be looking for this one to make a stab up somewhere around about 6.7 million Satoshis short term. I think we did, yeah, we actually played this one pretty damn well, Jack. There you go. Being reaccumulated at 55 right here. That is good for the daily trend in this case. And I know you didn't ask about long term, but I'm just curious for my own analysis, for my own thoughts, because we do have the monthly close coming up relatively soon. Yeah, a closure here higher by end of month is going to look pretty damn good. So short term, medium term rallies are going to be important on this one. But here's the thing, Jack. You do have a bit of a downtrend going on here as well. This could be your first higher low on the 12-hour for the last couple weeks here, actually. And that will be confirmed by trading back above about 6.7 million Satoshi. So I do think that you're going to test around there in the short-term timeframes. The question is, does it hold up around there in the short-term timeframes? If it does, good. If it does not, and we actually start to see it breaking below about 6.55 million Satoshis, I would look for another leg down. I don't think that's necessarily happening right here. We even have multiple drives of phantom div coming off the low. In fact, another one building right here right now as well. So I do suspect that short term this one does test up somewhere around 6.7 million Satoshis, and I want to see if it can actually close above there, and if it can, I would extend targets significantly, actually, all the way up to about 6.9 million Satoshis, and probably more over time coming into early September if that does hold. Miguel, hey, what's up, man? I look forward the day I don't have to come here. All good, man. Yeah, that is the overall idea. Take the information and then use it as you please, man. Use it hopefully for good. Use it hopefully for good, but there you go. Anyways, go check out CME right here. Again, this is, I think, a lot more obvious than spot price action for what it's worth. Anyways, you are looking at what? Yesterday, UTK, USDT entry at 46 cent. Okay, what's a mistake? All right, yes, I remember you spoke about that yesterday. We said that it probably had a little bit of a short-term downside move, right? And yeah, that's pretty much, oh no, you actually did get a chance to get out, sir. Did you take it? Sir? We did get a bit of a bounce yesterday, but now actually coughing that one back up. Similar sort of short-term price action to Bitcoin right here. You got a bit of a range going on. This would be your confirmation of a bit of a bear trap to the upside above about 40. What is this? 45 and a quarter. Probably even front run that above about 45 cent even. But short term is down, man. And this one very likely is hinting at a potential reversal right here. Again, any sort of a closure below about 42 cents, and I'd be looking for this one to come all the way down to 37. And at that point, you got to be asking yourself, do you really want to be holding this thing at that point? Because, well, it is actually not a bad chart. Wait, no, hold on. Yes, it is a very bad chart long term. It's fucking terrible long term. But fair enough. You know, I'd give it a chance to bounce first and then come back to it after that is probably what I'd do in this case. But, you know, you really have to get, you know, if I'm just speaking directly to you, because we've kind of been going on like this ongoing thread here for like the last week, it seems like, with these sort of positional questions. Understand, man, like you need to fucking have your entry, exit, and risk management points set out before you ever enter these goddamn trades. Like, you need to identify these better. So you saw the wrong range, got out. But what was your plan? Okay, so you did get out. Okay, so that's good. Hey, there we go. Need to identify those better. So many candles. What the fuck is that? Anyways, you're asking about CAUTI USD now. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, high-term time frame psychology. What could be going on this highly esteemed? Actually, pretty good. Hey, pretty good right there. Not bad. What did we see? You're looking... okay, so hold on. Where did I just leave off? Okay, you're looking at a 29-cent entry. All right, where was that? So you basically bought the breakout. Not bad. I mean, that's pretty fucking good right there. And what are you doing? Got out 5 days ago at 31 cent for better entries, range 33, 28, didn't buy at 27, frustrated, missed pump. Well, look, you're literally giving your own answer out as you make this comment. You're talking about range trading, and then you're like, I missed the fucking big pump. That's not range trading. Decide what the fuck you're gonna do and stick with it. You can't be doing two things simultaneously. You need to have a goddamn plan, and the plan naturally will not include both range trading and trend trading in the same goddamn strategy. So please understand that if you're going to be a range trader, you're not going to get these sort of moves right here. By definition, these are not range trades. If you're range trading and you're holding on to something like this, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it like by fucking definition, you're doing it wrong. So yeah, man, it's a nice move right here. But I suppose your real question is what? Any obvious signs up was coming? Well, again, I mean, why like. I mean, you have trend, you have moving averages, you have momentum, hidden bullish divergence right off that last low right there as well. Yes, also expanding volatility as well. This one getting into the red zone right here. Yeah, I do think that there are several signals, but again, man, decide what you actually want to do and stick with it rather than going, to and fro. It seems like you're kind of, no offense, but like a chicken running around with your head cut off. And these things need to be really well defined before you ever honestly trade. Like, can really consider filling out the goddamn trade checklist, and then more importantly, consider following it. And you can fill that out any which way that you want. Like, decide what kind of trader that you want to be, but you got to stick with that, man. If you try to do something that's outside of that, and more importantly, Jesus Christ, man, I almost forgot the most important part of it. Make sure you goddamn back test it. Is what you're doing actually working? Is what you're doing actually working? Because that is a part that is usually and conveniently left out of that equation, unfortunately, because it's probably the most important part. Anyways, as far as this thing goes, what were the signs that this one was going to continue? It was on the daily right here. You're within the midst of a macro move above all major moving averages. You just got the golden cross right here. Volatility is expanding still, and typically on these macro moves, you're going to get into 90 plus percentile at the very least, and probably 100 percentile. And then at the same time, you also had momentum also is giving you some signals as well for further up. Anyways, this one does this one continue on over time? I mean, it's very common to sell off your prior all-time high right here. Or is this your prior all-time high? Yeah, it is. So coming back down, I'd probably just be looking for another higher low somewhere around either where we're at right now or down to about 35 cents or so. Anyways, that's not your question, but to directly address your question, look, man, you got to decide what you want to do and then stick with it. Like that is it. And then naturally those moves are going to happen from time to time, but you just have to remind yourself, this is what my plan is. I'm sticking to my plan because I know what happens when I don't stick to my plan, and so be it. That is trading. So either accept that or accept that you're basically gambling, playing a fucking video game with financial consequences that can turn out very, very poorly. So just be aware. Anyways. Someone says BTC is dumping. Sir, get off the fucking 5-minute chart. What the hell? Again, short-term time frame range right here. I'd probably, I'd give this area a little bit of a chance first and foremost before I say that it's actually dumping. If you do lose this area, yes, you will see a pretty decent downside move from here. But for right now, again, just a short-term range as far as I'm concerned. And these sort of things really, really scare me, especially when I see them in the comment section or like the like the Discord community where people are like, fucking Bitcoin's gonna spew again. Bitcoin's going down. Fuck Bitcoin. God damn it. It's It's like, dude, understand this is nothing right here. Bitcoin at some point, maybe sooner rather than later, is going to play out a $10,000 move. It's going to happen, inevitably speaking. If you think that $1,000 move or even a $500 move or even a $2,000 move is like a big monumental thing to happen with price action, I got some bad news for you that this is only going to get more and more volatile, especially as the number goes up more and more as well. I mean, when Bitcoin is at $50,000, it can move $500, and that's literally just a 1% move. And that's an everyday occurrence in Bitcoin. You know, you really have to be thinking about that. What is it going to look like when it's $100,000, right? At some point, you know, it probably is. When does it happen? Well, hopefully, hopefully for some people sooner rather than later. Anyways, let's see. Walker Home Solutions wants to look at Sol near and midterm. Okay, we could look at Solana's. Let's see, Sol USD over here. Let's see what we got on Binance. Oh, we are losing the uptrend, sir. We are losing the uptrend a bit right here as well. But you do have your last hope for Bulaws right at the 68, about $69 region, kind of where you're at right now. But you do have a reversal going on right here as well. Here's your high, here's your low, here is your, well, this is not necessarily a potential lower high just yet. It's going into like a 2 hour. This should be more obvious. There we go. There we go. Here's your high, here's your low, here's your potential lower high. And if you do take out this area at about $67, I would be looking for a nice down all the way to about 62 and a half or so. That's your short term. If you're looking at medium term, I'd probably look at a 12 hour right here. Doesn't look as bad, to be quite honest with you. I would like to see the daily as well. Same thing right here. If you do start to crack down, though, I would be looking towards a move of about $60 or so. So, you know, do be aware of your risk on this one as well. Where would things change around in the short term? You know, just like Bitcoin back above about 49, what was it, 49.4? Yeah, 49.4, I believe it was. Back above about 73.35 on this one would look like a confirmed bear trap. But this is not what a bear trap typically looks like right here. To be quite honest with you, and that actually does make me think, or make me consider that Bitcoin very likely, or a little bit more likely, does break the downside range in its current posture right here. Anyways, hopefully that was good for that. We can look at Hootie Hennessy now. What's up, man? I'm a little Polkadot concubine. What the fuck does that even mean? Short term, yeah, we can look at this one. We could probably record this one as well. I don't think I've recorded a dot video in a while. Although I suspect that people are not going to like my analyses as much on shitcoins if if it's not going to be just fucking moon mode no matter what. Anyways, yeah, we can definitely do this one. I'm going to do a full overview for this one. I'm aware that you just asked about short term, but here we go. We have Polkadot, symbol DOT, and this one being requested by Mr. Hootie Hennessy, and he's looking at the short term for this price action analysis. And in fact, we'll be doing the whole rigmarole for this one right now, but we will start off with the short term timeframes, as we do see bit of a rejection there on the daily, but this is not anything too concerning just yet. I mean, the uptrend does remain on the daily as long as we're especially above, you know, $21.5. So there you go right there. But 4 hour timeframes are starting to turn around a little bit, and you do have a very obvious range going on right here now, don't you? You do see your top side of the range similar to Bitcoin, right around about 26.25, similar to Bitcoin at about 49.3, 49.4, whatever it was right there. We can take off this one. It's not relevant towards this time frame, and this is what we're focusing on right now. And then of course to the downside of the range, we can just use these wick lows, start to close below there about 24.70 or so. I would be looking for a nice downside move somewhere down around about 23.25 to perhaps even all the way down to about 22.90 or so, anywhere down around here. In fact, I will put in a nice little rectangle if it does break down somewhere right around there, and I would be looking for a bit of a bouncy bounce. Does that start to go against the daily trend in this case? Be a little bit more concerning, yes, but that is around your last low in this case. So I would be looking for a bit of a bounce there, and that wouldn't be too problematic. But you got to start looking at where Bitcoin is at that point. If Bitcoin starts to break below $46,000, that's where I start to get a lot more concerned about these altcoins. So in this case right here, you know, can still obviously pop back up, but needs to hold this current low side of the range. And for right now, things are looking a little bit more downside angled, especially from a momentum oscillator perspective. We do see multiple drives of hidden bearish divergence right there. Now, you could very easily argue that that's mostly played out, but volatility is starting to increase as this one does test the bottom side of the range. Not good, especially on a confirmation of already a 4 hour trend reversal, or sorry, hourly trend reversal. Let's go over to the buyer lane, see if there's anything of particular concern right here as well. Yeah, you do see the 200 simple and 200 exponential average coming right in that region as well here. I would be looking for perhaps yet again another bounce right there. But again, bounce, do not confuse bounce with reversal in this case. Just a little bit of a bounce, and probably easier to watch Bitcoin for direction. 12 hour, do we see any signals right here? No, not necessarily, although this one does look a little more breaky downy on the 12 hour, and 6 hour, same thing as well. Actually, it does look like this market actually does want to move lower from this region. A lot of the altcoins are not looking too hot right here, so I do suspect that the bear trappy potential scenario is probably not the most likely thing to play out right here. Let's see, does a 3 hour have anything for me? Not necessarily. Actually, just getting a silver cross to the downside right there, not fucking good. And general target would be, yeah, about 23 and a quarter, somewhere down around there for the next bouncy bounce, and then come back to it after that. See what the 5 day looks like at this point. Yeah, not too problematic on the 5 days. So higher term time frames still more or less okay, but again, do not confuse higher term time frames with lower term time frames. And just out of curiosity, where are our momentum oscillators on this one for the short-term time frames? We do start to see them turn down around this region. That's gonna, oh yeah, that is not looking good right there. 25 and a quarter for 4 hour Stokes to turn back down and stay within the bearish control zone. So if that does happen within the next 2 hours and 14 minutes for the next closures, then yeah, I'd be looking for this one very likely to break down from this region. So keep that in mind. But until that happens, hey, you can still have a little bit of light slip for Boolah Jesus. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin spot though. A lot easier to watch Bitcoin spot, I do suspect. So there you go. Hopefully that was helpful, sir. All right, next one. Leet Slip says, sir, perhaps there is hopium to sell on BBIG. Oh dear Lord. P.S. I'm not a boomer. You're not a boomer, huh? Okay, all right. That's interesting. Anyways, BBIG, is this crypto or is this stock? Okay, it's a stock. All right, nice. Is there any hopium to sell on Vinco Ventures? Is there any hopium to sell on this? Let's see what it looks like long term. What the fuck, man? God awful chart long term. Short term probably does pop up a little bit more, but what time frames are you looking at here? You're looking at 4 hour, daily, weekly. 4 hour, a little bit wrecked right there. We'll be confirming hidden bearish divergence if it does top out right here. So needs to get back above about 3 and a quarter today. Otherwise, I would be looking for this one to cough up the current rally. But if it can take out that region, again, 3 and a quarter, I would be looking for actually a pretty nice, pretty nice short-term move to the upside. Somewhere anywhere between about $3.69 and $4 even. Actually, looking at a weekly. You do have that hidden bullish divergence right there. I do not like this chart long term. That was a very fucking bad chart long term. But kind of got the dead heartbeat going on. Let's see what the daily says. Yeah, daily not too hot here either. But the question is, does it take out that level today or not? If it does, yes, I would be looking for a rally before, another probably pump and dump phase. But and that can go as high as like $4, maybe even $4.50 over time. But again, today and tomorrow are going to be very, very important for this one. Monthly, terrible. Very bad on the monthly, but hey, a little bit of hopium there in the short-term time frames, which obviously can bleed on into the higher-term time frames, as you can see. Anyways, Charismatic says, sorry, changed my name on YouTube. All good, man. Oh, what's up, Kelly? Hey, all good, man. Launched business and made me change YouTube name. All good, sir. By the way, you did wrong ADAX chart, not on TradingView, CMC for chart only. Look, man, I can look at the CMC chart, but I gotta warn you, I don't have a good, if I can't see my usual tools, I'm probably not going to tell you anything that you don't already know. So this is probably not going to be too helpful. But yeah, we can look at it over here. Again, I really dislike looking at the fucking coin derpo, coin fucking market cap charts. They're just, in my opinion, not that useful. I'm guessing you're looking at this one right here, ADAX or something of that matter. Actually looking pretty, or I guess it's 12% up right now. But short-term time frames, obviously breaking down right here. Look at the long-term. Little bit of a lower high. Look, man, I gotta shoot you straight. This thing's only been around for a month. I don't have any good opinion that's worth talking about on YouTube for this thing. It does look a little bit toppy right here. Probably does trade down to, what is this, 85, 86 cents or so. But other than that, man, I really don't have a good opinion on something like this that's this new on fucking coin derpo. And it's just, you don't want my opinion on that, man. You don't want my opinion on that. Sorry, I hope that I do say that with I hope I do say that with respect. Sorry, I'm just reading Super Ghoulies comment right here. This is a scary chart for Bitcoin. Hello, sir. Can we have a look at PivX BTC? Sure. I will also, I guess I actually which one as well, but we'll get back there really, really quickly. Are you looking at this versus the dollar or Bitcoin? This versus dollar. Probably gonna make it a little bit easier on this one, but let me just double check. No, you did say Bitcoin. Well, the dollar looks pretty bad right there on the hourly. Let's see. Okay, let's maybe give it the benefit of the doubt here and go to the Bitcoin chart. Bittrex probably going to be the exchange to go to for this one. I do remember this one from like 2017, actually. Oh yeah. Okay, terrible chart. Just awful chart, man. This one, as Jason Pizzina would say, is trending towards zero. Anyways, what time frame are you looking at right here? Looking at a daily. I mean, it looks just god awful on a weekly. This is not even a pump and dump because it doesn't really pump. Your lower highs on the weekly coming in anywhere around about 26.20. So if it does want to try another short-term pump phase, you're looking somewhere right around there. Daily does have hidden bullish evidence potential. For what it's worth, I don't know how much I trust that right here, but yeah, it does actually have it, especially on low volatility within a higher low structure. So that would be good. Needs to close the day anywhere here or higher, and then yeah, I probably would be looking for a little bit of a pump or a little bit of a pumpy before the next sort of dumbola. But again, you have macro lower highs. I don't want to sell you hopium on something like this because long term, this is just hot fucking garbage, man. I would not like personally, I would not in good faith ever touch anything like this with a fucking 10-foot pole, but can it go for a little bit of a short-term pump? Perhaps yes. Again, if that condition is met, until then though, man, I think you're just looking at more of a dead heartbeat long term. Poor Muggle says, should I panic sell my B Pro or just sit tight? Love the channel. I appreciate that, man. I can't really make these decisions for you because one, that'd be considered financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. But more importantly, I also don't know what the fuck, like, when you took a position in this, first off, well, I don't even know what position you did take. I don't even know what position you did take in this. I also don't know why you took the position. I also don't know, perhaps if you're like a very long-term investor, maybe you're looking at this from like, a 5-year standpoint, at which point it's probably get better entries, of course, but it's not like the worst. It's actually not the worst altcoin chart right here. I'd probably be looking for a short-term bounce anywhere around pretty much where we're at right now at 1.3 cent or so. This one did choose a downside route that we did speak about from yesterday. I'd give it a chance to bounce right here, but here's the thing: if you do fail this region, anywhere below, anywhere on a 4-hour closure below about 1.3, let's call it, I would be looking for this one to go much lower actually and cough up some more gains, perhaps all the way down a little bit below 1.2, which is a rather big move for this asset. Now, what time frame were you looking at? You didn't even give a time frame. Yeah, man, I can't in good faith give you an opinion on what you should do. I can just tell you where your risk is, and you can make the decision for yourself. You're looking at an hourly right here. Again, I'd give it a chance to bounce first. I do think there is a good shot that it will bounce right here, but where do things actually turn around on this thing? Where do you start to confirm this is a bit of a short-term bear trap? Well, in this case right here, somewhat of Bitcoin, but certainly not as strong as Bitcoin. Not that Bitcoin's necessarily strong right now in the short-term timeframes, would be back above essentially about 1.5 cent. Is that one? Yeah, that is 1.5 cent right there, right around here. And then I would be looking for a retest of the highs of this run and probably new highs on this run. But just again, understand where your risk is. If you do lose this level right here, you're very likely going a lot lower, and it's kind of like a do or die situation right here. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say do or die, but it's going to be if you do not, then I would be looking for what is this going to end up being? Probably from where we're currently at, another 12% down, which is rather significant, I think something worth maybe considering. So take that as you will. We also do have some bearish evidence populating itself right now as well. In fact, if you are a little bit more on the aggressive side, you will front run that call, but I would not in this case, actually. Anyways, see what the 2-day looks like. Not great. 5-day looks like still okay as far as the 5-day looks like. I certainly don't hate charts that look like this, but what can happen within a 5-day context versus the short-term timeframes. I mean, a lot. So again, I don't even know what time frame you're on, but hopefully that was in some way helpful, man. Sidenime, a love. Hey, what's up, man? Nice little emoticon right there. Sweet one. Robert Fatsharik says, man, hopefully I got that name right. That is a mouthful right there. Robert Fatsharik. Is that right? Can you check out BitF Daily? You mean Bitfarms? Oh shit. Are you the new Scott Carney? Are you the new Scott Barney going on right here? Let's see. What time frame are you looking at, sir? Daily. Okay, there we go. Well, short-term time frame is a little bit of downside right there, but that's not relevant for a daily, or is it? Okay, we got a high, we got a potential low right here, we got a potential lower high right here. If this one does top out and basically trade below, we could actually use low-term time frame ranges for this one, below about 5.25. Then actually would be looking for a decent size retracement on this one, all the way down to about 490. But for right now, let's see what the higher-term time frames look like the weekly. Not terrible, though you do have a bit of drives of bearish divergence, but you could say that those have already played out, in my opinion. 5-day, literally same chart, so not very helpful right there. Just regular daily. Do we have potential? Actually, we have potential we actually have potential bullish divergence formulated on this one. Would need to close today's daily total above about 588, 590-ish region. And then yes, I would be looking for a little bit of short-term upside, but you got a very similar setup here, again, towards Bitcoin, right? Where you do have this nice little swing high. And if you do trade back above there, this is your confirmed bear trap. And you'd be looking at a run back around your prior highs and very likely continuation. That looked very, very good. See if we can make it a little more obvious on the short-term timeframes or come up with a better range. 609 would be my area of interest for that as confirmation. And again, to the downside, confirmation below about 5.25 or so. And short-term downside again would be about 490. To the upside, actually a lot more open-ended, as this one is pretty much already at all-time highs. For the long term, it looks like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was going on over here? That is bizarre. That is very bizarre. Anyways, there you go, sir. There he is. What's up, Colin McCann? Or sorry, actually, I just skipped out on ME. Sorry about that, sir. Hey, Krown, what's up, man? Can you take a look at QI? Is that QI? And see how low potentially does it go? When would it turn back up? Okay, symbol QI. Here we go. You're talking about this silver futures. Okay. Silver futures. So we identified a reversal on this, I believe, 2 weeks ago. Let's see where it's at right now. It's lower. It's actually at our $22.5 target. Not bad. Hey, not bad. Every once in a while, that TA bullshit works. But these are silver futures. I think I did our chart on spot silver. Anyways, you are asking about what specifically? How low does it potentially go? Well, again, we need to know a time frame for this, right? Short term, I think that it probably bounces off this level right here. Probably bounces. Let's see. Do we have any sort of divergence to be aware of right here? Perhaps. No, we do not. It could very easily bounce back around about 24.40 to 24.5 or so. In fact, a couple drives, phantom div come off these lows as well. It's okay for a short-term move, especially on low volatilities. It does put in a little bit of a short-term low, but the reversal is real. It does look like, and I'd probably be a little bit skeptical in the mid 20s, like 2040 to 2050-ish region. Only way that I'd actually get bullish back on this one would be back above about 25.5 or so. But what exactly are you asking? How low could it go before it turns up? I think right here is actually fine. Like I said, I'd be looking for a bounce right here, actually. It pretty much hit our target. So typically when you do hit a technical target like that, you will bounce just, by people taking profit at the very fucking least. And in this case right here, we actually have a pretty damn good jewel long signal on the daily. So I think it bounces from here, man. I think that you've already kind of seen the short-term or medium-term downside. If you're looking for more downside, you're probably looking at a monthly right here. And if that is, if this is going to play out lower, I'd probably be looking somewhere around about $20.5, but that's not happening like this month, probably September. If it is going to happen, I do think, and I would stand by bounce first and then decide later. I think it's actually even possible. You might even see a bit of a trap situation there going on as well. Could you tell us a song from the beginning of the stream? Yeah, that's actually Meat Hook by Mick Gordon. There you go. What's up, Nimbo? There he is. I meant to tell Krown you should breed the koala and sell the baby NFTs on the reject markets. Is that a thing? I don't know enough about these fucking NFT koalas to know what the hell that even means. You can breed my koala? You can breed... Oh my God, man. It's like a whole nother world. I totally get it, though. It's actually like pretty fun to look through all of the... I should mate with a koala. How's that going to work? That's pretty much how AIDS started, so I probably don't want to contribute to that next fucking pandemic. There you go. Fucking by the dip says, Lamo, my stinky stays linky. Let's check it out. I think I do have Link on my... Yes, I do have it on my watch list over here. Where are you at, Mr. Link? Uh-oh. Link kind of breaking it down as well. Here is... Actually, this would be very concerning if this one does start to trade below about 24.25. This is actually starting to look kind of nasty on the daily right here. Several drives of actually bearish divergence, massive reject from the bearish control zone. Daily jewel is a sell, and daily BBWP still contracting throughout this all. But if you see BBWP turn up on a break of 24.25, this one, you're going to see bounce along the way, probably at 22 and probably 21. But this one probably coughs a good portion of this rally all the way down to $19-20 even. It's not going to look good. 4 hour though, I'd be looking for a short-term bounce somewhere around about 24.80-ish region. Similar price action to Bitcoin right here, but a little bit more of a condensed range. Anywhere back above $27, I would say that this is going to be a bit of a short-term bear trap, but we are starting to lose a bit of structure here. So do be aware of where your risk is. I'd still give it a chance. Of course, it's not wise to front run a reversal until it happens. We're still holding this uptrend line right here, not necessarily. So I'm going to get rid of that one and just go off the horizontals. In this case, again, very, very easily documentable. In fact, I would actually just keep it in line with the last 4 hour low right here, which is also in line with the 200 exponential moving average. So I do like that confluence in this case. I would be giving that a chance to bounce first. If you do start to break below, that's where I imagine the daily levels, probably come into fruition. And that's actually, you're probably gonna have another short-term time frame bounce around there, but it's very unlikely to hold. That's where issues do really start to occur in this. And you would also be making a lower low on the daily as well. You don't necessarily have a lower high just yet, but making a lower low is the first criteria towards actually reversing your trend, of course. So do be aware. Do be aware of, good sir. Do be aware. Hopefully your stinkies remain linkies, sir. Cold and done. Wait, what? Read the last one. I don't know if it's relevant. You talking about ZY? Are you talking or the last one that you sent me? Yeah, that's fine. You can send that to me. Anyways, we got Cold and Done over here. Could you please give me some thoughts on Alchemy Pay chart? Heard it recommended a couple times the last few days, and I'm just learning about it. Okay, well, we can check it out. What is it? ACH. Okay, here we go. Coinbase and Huobi. Okay, so a great start to this one at first. Actually, one of the better charts we've seen today. All things considered. I don't know what time frame I made this chart on. Maybe a weekly? No, probably like a short-term time frame. Yeah, it looks like we got a bit of a range going on right here. Actually, one of the better charts we've seen today, to be fair. I was not expecting anything right here, but that's to my chagrin, sir. I would be looking for a little bit of a short-term downside move towards 10 cent or so, but long-term, this is actually one of the best charts we've seen today, holding up really, really well. Now, here's the thing: if Bitcoin does start to dump and actually lose 47,000 bucks, what are you going to be looking like on something like this? Well, that's a real question right now, because while I do think that 10 cent probably does bounce, it probably would fail, and you'd be looking at a move down to the lower end of this current sideways consolidation on the daily specifically. That would be about 8 cents or so. Wouldn't be the worst thing to happen, obviously, but let's see how the weekly is looking. Again, I'm not necessarily bearish on a chart that looks like this for what it's worth right now. I don't know what the hell this thing is. I don't know what the hell this thing does. So I do kind of refrain from saying anything more than that. Maybe we could see a monthly really quick. Monthly is not fucking bearish. That is not a fucking bearish chart right there. Jesus Christ. Other than that though, man, I don't know what exactly was your question. Can you give me some thoughts on the Alchemy Pay chart? What time frame are you looking at right here? I give it a chance to bounce off right here first, and here's your very obvious short-term time frame ranges. Anywhere back above about what is this? Just below 12 cent. It would look pretty damn good on this one, and I'd be looking for a retest the highs and probably continue on with the macro rally here. Until then, short-term bounce at about 10 cent. Start to fail below there. I would be looking for the daily range to, I'd be looking for the daily to hit the bottom side of the range somewhere around 8 cents or so, and then come back to it after that. But actually one of the better charts we've seen today. So very, very interesting right there. I wonder why that is. I wonder why this one's kind of on its own. It's like on its own mission right there. Bitcoin closing on new hourly lows on volume as well. Not good, sirs and zers. Let's see what CME looks like. Another 8 minutes or so to closure, but no, volatility turning up at the bottom side of the range. Not good for now, at least. See what happens. Let's see what happens in the good old cryptocurrency lands. Anyway, Shibley says, can we check on Gort? GRT? Oh, Gort? You mean graph? GRT? Is that graph? Is that, wait, what? Yeah, this is graph. Is that like the new fucking internet speak for graph? Yeah, this one losing its luster as well, man. Everything's turning down. The market was all a trap. The market was all bullshit. It's going to zero. Definitely going to zero. What do we have right here? Well, we have a little bit of a short-term downtrend. I'll be looking for this one to reach a little bit lower before the next bounce, somewhere around about 84 to 85 cent. What time frame are we looking at though? Short and medium term. Okay, so that'd be your short-term, medium-term, 12-hour and daily on this one. Yeah, I'd be looking for a little bit of a bounce, somewhere around about 84 to 85 cent or so. But here's the thing, man. You start to break below about 83 cent on any sort of even like a 4-hour closure in this case. Yeah, on a 4-hour it'd be about 82 and a half. On a closing basis, I would extend targets to the downside significantly. That would be an actual break. You would have new lows on the daily, so you'd have lower lows right there. This would be in the midst of perhaps putting in a pretty big reversal on the daily. I would be looking for a short-term move down about 79 cent. Very likely a bounce there, but I do not believe things would stop there. Long-term, things would probably come down a little bit below 74 cent before the next sort of potential interesting bounce. But again, probably easier to watch Bitcoin as always when it comes to altcoins. Easier to watch Bitcoin kind of line up those moves and then kind of operate from there. All right, let's see what else we have over here. Salmon Crunches. What's up, man? Hey, Krown, can you take a look at the stock LMND? Sure. See, what do we have here? Lemonade on your stock change, and we have a shitty chart thus far. What time frames are you looking at, though, sir? No time frames given, so just look at the stock. you know, you did kind of get your bounce off of the prior week, off the prior your weekly low. Okay, that's to be expected, but this bounce is looking pretty damn weak already. We do have, or do we have? No, we do not have actually, but regardless of that, I imagine we probably have bearish evidence on short-term timeframes. Yes, we do. So I'd be looking for next move to the downside. Very, 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 very likely $71.5. You know, the question is, how does it respond right there? If you do start to close below $71.5, probably even on an hourly, yeah, even on an hourly would do this one, even $72 on an hourly. I'd be looking for this one to cough up the whole rally, back down about 68.90. Sorry, 68.90 is what I mean to say, $68.90. And at that point, you know, are we looking for long-term continuation? Maybe, but I'd want to come back to it and see it after that, because I don't really know what time frames you're looking at right here. And for what it's worth, I mean, you know, if it does start to hold around there, I mean, we will not have bullish evidence on weekly RSI. Okay, fair enough. Well, then a little bit less hopium right there, but I'd give it a chance first to bounce off that level and then come back to it after that. But for right now, short-term down, if that is indeed what you're looking for, which I'm not necessarily sure. That's why it'd be very, very helpful if you included a time frame that you want to look at, because otherwise I don't really know which way to look at it. And obviously, like an hourly time frame analysis is going to be much different than like a daily, you know, for example, or a monthly as well, for that matter. Mamba for life, what's up, man? Cardano USD, 1 hour short term, okay, and long term, all right. gives out a time frame for the short term and then not for the long term. Well, fair enough, man. I'll just assume you mean a daily in this case. That's typically what people mean, I suspect, but for what it's worth, to me, that actually means like a weekly. Anyways, let's go over here, 260. We get a nice little bounce on this one. Actually, yes, we are. Let's see. You said hourly specifically, though. Yeah, very, 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 very similar chart to Bitcoin on the short term here as well. Did break a little bit on the range lows right there. However, I wouldn't necessarily call that a conclusive move just yet. And this was probably relevant for the 4 hour. Yes, indeed, it was. Actually move this down towards your 55 in this case. If this one does want to take a little bit of a stint lower, which I suspect that it probably will, I'd be looking for a bounce somewhere between about 252 and 255 or so. But here's the question is, because this is still a range right here, so we're not really looking at anything like too massive just yet. What is the reaction off that level? And again, I wouldn't necessarily look for this to happen today if it is going to happen, but if you do start to take out the high of this current consolidation range, which is 277 as of current moment in time, then I would be looking for this one to essentially trade sideways and up out of this range. You know, retest the highs of this rally and then very likely new all-time highs from there, because it's already so fucking close in this case. 5-day, again, I'm not bearish on a chart that looks like this. We did say off of the last 5-day closure, this one can come down easily to 250. In fact, we're pretty much there already at 255 and bounce from there. So I wouldn't necessarily get bearish on anything that looks like this for what it's worth. But short-term timeframes, you can kind of see where that does change around. So if you're specifically asking about an hourly, would be looking for bounces, you know, relatively around this region. You kind of already got around there at 255 or so. If it makes another stab around there, I would still be looking for a short-term bounce. The question is, does it hold it or not? If it fails to hold it, I would be looking for deeper retracements. At that point, at that point, you're probably looking at a move back down around about 235 to 240-ish region. But for what it's worth, I would give it a chance to bounce first here. I actually still like this chart long term. It's actually still a pretty damn good chart long term. Weekly, a little bit short term toppy, but again, the focus is on the monthly coming into the end of this, August right now. Now, I know you didn't ask about the monthly specifically, but I do think you might be interested in this, because if the monthly does close, I mean, if the monthly just closes on new fucking all-time highs, which is anywhere above $2. I'd be looking for this one. Maybe September's a bit sideways, but very, very likely to make new all-time highs, October, maybe November, if that were going to be the case. This would be like not bearish, to be 100% clear. So again, this is why I like to differentiate between the short and higher term timeframes if you are going to ask about them, because it's a completely different picture, completely fucking different picture right there. Okay, cool. Savage says, hey sir, what's up, man? How are you? I'm doing all right, man. Got a good night of sleep last night. I'm getting ready for deadlifts today, so deadlifts and stay. It's a good day. Anyways, you're looking at Monero, short term, please. No time frames given. I'm gonna go with an hourly and 4 hour on this one. I'm imagine it's gonna probably be doing about the same things as Bitcoin. Yep. What do you know? It's like almost the same short-term time frame chart as pretty much everything else. We got a bit of a range going on right here, about 295 and 3/4 versus your 317 highs. Of course, I think that's pretty easily definable. If we go to a 4 hour, does look a little more short-term downside angled. Very likely do get another test somewhere around 295. The question is, what is the reaction? What is the response around there? Obviously, if this one does even just trade back above 217.5, I'd be looking for this one to retest the highs of this rally at about 330, and then probably new highs on this rally, which would look very fucking good on this one, to be fair. But for right now, man, again, know where your risk is. Below this region right here, 295.5, things will start to turn down for the short-term timeframes and bleed into the medium-term timeframes. So that would extend the move down to about 280 or so, a little bit above 280 in this case. But for right now, man, and for what it's worth, I kind of have the same thing to say about Bitcoin. I would look for this area to hold first, look at the response, and then come back a little bit later and then see if it actually does break down. I don't think it's going to happen at this exact moment in time. Yeah, I mean, that does look pretty nasty on Bitcoin right there, to be fair. I'm curious. We got CME hourly close in about 30 seconds right here. Let's see it hold above the 200 in this case, and it is right there, smack dab at the strike. Anyways, ICE 32,000 says, in 2018, you mocked Cardano for having the worst chart. How do you reconcile it being the best high market cap performance since? Was TA or market wrong? No, and I was actually very, and to be quite honest with you, man. So here is how I look at things, and here's how I'd stand by that statement. This was a fucking terrible chart all the way from 2017 to 2020, and we called that the whole way through. And I'm not saying that to shoot my own horn, but when you come at me with a statement like this, we have to respond in the sense that this is what the information was at the time, and this is what was happening at the time. And at least in my opinion, and perhaps you might agree with this, maybe you don't agree with this, but this was a 99% downside move. So yes, it was a fucking terrible chart. You call a shit chart, or at least I call a shit chart when I see a shit chart. But here's where we started to switch around. And it was very, very simple, actually. When the weekly trend changed, which happened right here, right fucking here, almost a year ago, actually, in June 2020, that's when we said, hey, Cardano is actually flipping around. And I believe Cardano was one of the first ones to do it as well. It did it before Bitcoin. It did it before Ethereum. It did it before a lot of the other high cap coins. And we kind of said, hey, this one's actually showing some promise here. So was the TR charts wrong? I mean, the TN charts told you to not fucking buy into this 99% downside move, and then told you to buy about right here at about 7 cents or so before going off to, I mean, $2.50, $3. So, obviously we might have different opinions on this, but I would honestly stick by what I said there. I would stick by that because I do not want to buy into anything that looks like this at this point in time. Because what happens more often when you see shit like this is you see a chart. I don't know if I have like a really good example of a shitty chart here. What you typically see is just it never picks it up, and it just remains in that long-term downtrend. In this case, though, we did identify that the weekly reversal happened actually first before pretty much all the other high caps, from what I recall, and now it's significant. So yeah, I would do the exact same thing in the future, actually. Hopefully that is clear, but at the same time, you might just have a different sort of investment or trading sort of strategy. Maybe you're a long-term investor and you're like, hey, I see some, it's 99% down. By the way, it can always still go another 9% down as well. And, but maybe I believe in the project and I've got like a 5 to 10 year horizon. And so I invest in it at that point. Fair enough. That's a different sort of thing, but you have to understand when we're talking about trading, specifically, it's never been a profitable endeavor in my experience to fucking buy into something that's on a weekly downtrend and just with no end in sight realistically. So yeah, man, that's pretty much what I stand by right there. Symbol MS, there he is. Why are noobs scared of a little Bitcoin drop? Well, I suspect that a lot of people probably got in this market this year, if I had to guess. I mean, you have to realize that the market got really mainstream this year. I mean, it's being talked about in CNBC. It's being talked about in mainstream news. It's pretty much like on the tip of the tongue of especially like younger people as well. I think there's a statistic that even came out that now about 20% of Americans own Bitcoin. And I imagine that a strong majority of that came in probably this year or maybe at the end of 2020. Anyways, regardless of that, they just don't, they probably just don't have the experience and they probably just don't have, they probably just aren't aware, and they'll learn over time. Or if they don't learn over time, then they probably just get wrecked. And pour one out. Anyways, I think as long as Bitcoin doesn't break the weekly 21 exponential, then it's fine long term for Bitcoin. Have a great day. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the same, kind of on the same philosophy as well. But here's the thing: it's like that is all the way down at $42,000, which would be my target on a break of 46 actually. But the problem is that people get crazy off of like a $2,000 move in Bitcoin, off of just retesting the $50,000 breakdown. That is to be expected about. I was looking a little bit higher. I think we got up to like 50,500. I was looking at $51,000. But even that is like, you know, I'll still get shit for that because people would be like, what the fuck? We didn't hit the goddamn target. We pulled back. How dare you? It's like, all right, well, understand that this, you know, these things can really fucking move, man. I mean, this is, you know, for what it's worth on the weekly actually does have potential downtrend in motion here if we do confirm a local high right here, which has not been done just yet. But more importantly, I mean, the weekly range is fucking massive, man. It's like 60%, or it's about 50% from top to bottom right there. So, you know, if you're actually getting ready for a legitimate reversal, it can get much worse. I don't think that that's happening right here, right now, to be honest with you. And I think that that's a little bit less likely to happen, at least from this current posturing. But hey, that is probably that, you know, that is the statistics on this one. Anyways, yeah, you know, and I'd kind of generally agree with you as well. Been a pretty damn good guideline over the years. There he is, the SEC. Holy shit, the SEC. But why is the SEC using, what is NTs? What kind of exotic currency is that? I don't know. You're looking at cake on the 4 hour. Okay, this is pancake swap or one of the goddamn swaps over here. Oh, actually, pretty good. You know, I'm gonna record this one. This is a pretty easy one right here. All right, here we go. Here we have pancake swap. This, or is it pancake swap? I don't know exactly what it is, but the symbol is cake versus the dollar on Binance. This one being requested actually by the SEC right now, and he's looking at a 4 hour. We'll actually do a general overview of this one because this one's very interesting right here. It has a significantly different chart than most things that we've seen today. And whenever I see something like that, I like to record a video on it because, well, you know, give it a little bit of spotlight. Anyways, as far as the daily goes, the first thing that sticks out to me, this thing is still remaining within its overall long-term uptrend. That is very, very important, of course. Do we see anything that is giving us any signals as far as momentum oscillators go? Daily RSI, no. I would have liked to have seen some hidden bullish evidence right there. We actually don't have that. Maybe on a 12 hour, we might be able to populate some. Yes, indeed, we do. We have it coming off that low right there. So I would be quite confident saying that you actually do have a pretty obvious range going on right here. And I imagine that this is very likely going to align with the 4 hour, which is what you requested, between about 24.5 and probably our current high structure right here. Let's see what it looks like on a 4 hour now. With that in mind, yes, indeed. Okay, very, very cool. And the 4 hour would actually be a little bit of a deeper range in this case, between about 23.5 and our current highs right here. Anyways, with that in mind, I actually do like this chart, and I would not be getting any way, shape, or form even short-term bearish on this one as long as you're above about 23.5 bucks. Now, hey, if you do break below that region, especially on a 4 hour closure, probably even on a 2 hour closure as well, I would look for a nice retracement somewhere back down around about just below 22 bucks right here. Yeah, probably around 22 bucks. Let's see if that lines up with anything else on like an hourly. Yep. What do you know? Coming in right in line with that hourly 200 simple and 200 exponential average right there as well. So good. I would be looking for a bit of a bounce right there and then very likely come back to it a little bit later. But for right now, sideways is the name of the game, and that is completely fine on this one. That'd be very, very constructive, setting up for a continuation of this move. Maybe not today, but very likely tomorrow, Friday in this case. Weekly, for what it's worth, is not giving me too much. 5 day. And that can be too much here as well. Actually, not as strong in the 5 day as several of the other charts in this cryptocurrency land. 3 day, I believe, just closed last night, more or less closing on new highs on this rally. Not necessarily the worst thing of all time. So fair enough. You know, short term, a little bit of sideways here is good. If you start to close back above about 26 bucks, I would. Sir, you okay? All right, Elsa's having a laugh attack back there. But you know, if you can trade back above the highs of this rally, I would be looking for extension to about 29 bucks, 29 and a quarter or so. Let's see if it makes more sense on momentum oscillators or if there's anything that's more obvious right here. Let's see if there's any major points of interest. Let's see what the daily looks like specifically. Actually, daily Stoke's turning down as long as below 26.10. So that is actually very, very interesting because that is right at the top side of our resolution. So that would imply if we do close above that region today, then we would turn up daily momentum oscillators once again. We'd also probably see, well, volatility is just looking weird there. I don't have anything to make out of that actually. But we'd actually probably see one of the more deeper targets get hit. So while 29 bucks would be on the card, actually would be looking towards about 31.5 to $32 more long term, probably into early September. But for right now, keep in mind those ranges. Yeah, actually one of the more interesting charts that we've seen today. So there you go. Enjoy your pancake swap, sir. I am on a no-carb diet, so that'll be none for me. And I need to take a sip of this water because I actually am on a water diet as well. How do you feel about the idea of not yelling at Elsa anymore? That was a very thoughtful comment, sir, that I will not respond to because what the fuck? What the fuck, sir? Oh. Sir, are you new to the internet? This is a Wendy's. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, that is you gotta love the fucking internet. Holy shit, man. It's actually pretty interesting. That's not the first person to actually ask that from me, man. This one guy sent me like a fucking 5-page long message one day, like just doing like a psychological analyzation of this stream. It's like, oh my god, man. Have you heard of a joke? It's like, what the fuck? Anyways, Mr. Deaver says, hey man, love your show and your thanks man. Appreciate that. Long time watcher. Cool. Well, first time request. All right. Well, good to meet you, sir. Could you do a general analysis of RSI Rush Street? Okay. So I'm guessing this is probably a stock, huh? It is. Rush Street Interactive. Pretty good short term, or at least on the daily. But yeah, this one's actually looking like it's reversing right here, man. You have a head and shoulders reversal pattern going on. Nice higher low right there. Nice semi-higher high right there. Looking good on the reversal. Yes, indeed. I'd say this one's actually freshly breaking out. Short term probably does make a run up towards about 1550 to 1560 or so. Maybe a bit of a pullback there, but I do think that this one's actually getting ready for a legitimate reversal. You do see a bit of a change of behavior on the volume there as well, though not as obvious. Weekly is where it's a lot more obvious though, and I probably would be looking for targets into maybe September, maybe even October, somewhere around about 16 to 17 bucks. This would look pretty damn good actually. I do think that this one's getting ready for a macro reversal. This is what it should look like. Should be very, very obvious. And I think the weekly shows it best with this inverted head and shoulders, which actually does have a measure move as well. Let's see where this one would populate itself. And it'd actually be a little bit higher than my proverbial target. That'd actually be suggesting a technical target somewhere just below 18 bucks. So keep in mind, anywhere around there long term would look good. But what time frame are you even looking at? Daily and weekly. Okay, yeah, perfect. There we go. Hey, nice one. Not bad. No more paper. What's up, man? C98, 1 and 4 hour. Okay, it's on Binance. All right. What the fuck? All right. Okay, this is all right. Interesting. What the actual fuck? This is a very good chart. Well, at least on the weekly, there's not a whole hell of a lot of history here. Let's see. Do we have? Yes, we do have. Okay, so any sort of a higher low above 310. Jesus Christ, man. I do think probably short term it does come down a little bit more, you know. But this is actually still looking pretty damn good. Anywhere around $4.5 would look pretty damn good, and would still have hidden bullish evidence on 4-hour RSI. Be looking for sideways and up from there, but not really enough history for me to feel too comfortable with this one. But yeah, short term probably does trade a little bit down. Again, anywhere around $4.5 would be fair game. That'd just be another higher low, even on the short-term timeframes. I would only get, I'd really only get concerned about this one below about 335 or so. For right now, though, one of the better charts we've seen certainly today. But again, not enough history to really feel too confident in something like this. It is a bit strange to see doing something completely different at Bitcoin right here. But short term very likely does pull back a little bit further, for what it's worth. I wouldn't really be looking for any sort of like interesting upside movement or sustained upside movement until this one actually starts to trade back above about 562 in this case, 562. Until then, a little bit of sideways, a little bit of downside, and then I'll be looking for some higher low action around those regions that we mentioned. But one of the better charts we have seen actually thus far. All right, cool. ME wants to look at, no, it's QL. Oh, it's QL. It's still not a thing. Oh, god damn it, it's this piece of shit. Motherfucker. All right, MS. Oh, god. Bad. How low can this one go? There is no bottom for something like this. It's only been around for like a week. It's literally been around for a week, man. There is no bottom for something when you've only been around for a week. Is it? This one has been banned from the moon. This one's not going to the Copacabana. This one's going to the fucking. I mean, short term, I'd be looking at like 17.5 cents, but it probably bounces there. But do not confuse bounce with reversal. This is way too young to give it any legitimate analysis, man. I do think it goes to 17 cents or 17.5 cents and probably tries to bounce there, but failure there, and this thing probably enters into the first downside move of its potential long-term dead heartbeat. Who knows what the fuck this thing is? Ben Qui? Is that like the monitor manufacturer? Anyways, whatever it is, you do have a daily reversal going on here. It looks like as well. So do be aware, sir. Do be aware indeed. All right, here we go. We got Justin Young back again. Hello, sir. XRP for our daily weekly. For the XRP armor. All right, no problem. Much love from Hong Kong. Fuck yeah, man. There we go. Get the Chinese involved here. Or I guess I've actually heard that Chinese people, or sorry, people from Hong Kong do not consider themselves Chinese. Do I have that right? Yeah, it looks like XRP actually did break our range from yesterday, right? Actually, right at the fucking strike there. Jesus Christ. You know, could obviously still hold a little bit here, but this is not going to be the reaccumulation that you'd be looking for in this case. If you are going to have a bit of a bear trap, you'd expect this one to not break below about 113.5. Personally speaking, I think that this one probably does, but next downside targets would be about $1.05, anywhere between about $1.05 and $1 even for a bit of a daily bounce, or sorry, a little bit of a 4-hour bounce. Is that going to be in line with the daily as well? Actually, yes, a little bit higher than there, but this one actually not too bad on a daily. What time frame are you looking at here? What time frame are you looking at? Yeah, 4-hour daily, weekly. Yeah, daily ain't too bad, especially as long as you're above about 110. So that short-term downside move could very easily play out, but as long as you don't get any closures below there, I'd give it a chance to bounce first. I mean, there would still be a bit of a higher low on the daily specifically, but below there is where things do change around. Probably look for this one to extend into the weekly at that point. You know, at that point, you're probably looking at about 97 to 95 cents or so. But again, still a little bit further away in this case. I'm curious where daily oscillators are situated at right here as well. Where are you at, sir? Yeah, downside angled as long as below about 128.5. So this one could get a little bit more nasty, man. This one could get a little bit more nasty, but do be aware of 10. It's actually 108.5. 108.5? No, it's 108. 108 even. 108 even would be my line in the sand for this one on a daily, specifically short-term time frames though. You know, this one does look like it actually wants to kind of break down a little bit here. For what it's worth, needs to hold above 113.5. Otherwise, you'll inevitably be getting this silver cross to the downside right here. And at that point, I'd be looking for that test down to about 108 in the daily. Just hope that it doesn't break below. Otherwise, probably heading lower as well. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin in this case. You know, if that one's going to break down, it probably means that Bitcoin already broke down, as you probably know. And well, Bitcoin might even be doing it right here. Did close on new hourly lows. Where did CME close? CME, where did you do it? Right at the 200 exponential average, actually. Anyways, ZY says, ZY here. Hello, sir. Do you use open interest for your trades? Yeah, I do. In fact, you can see right over here. We have it on the app, documented every goddamn day. Anyways, okay, for your trades, coin analyze net example, 30-minute candle, what the fuck? Showed some short interest at the lows. You know, here's the thing. So open interest, just like any underlying market dynamic, can never be used specifically on its own. It is important, yes, but I don't really like looking at open interest, especially on a short-term time frame, like a 30-minute, as you're saying right there. I'd look at open interest on a daily, because you really need to combine everything. I mean, you really need to be looking at it on like a continuous move, actually, but at the very minimum a daily, and then kind of analyze price action from there. But you know, people adding some shorts at the lows, you know, yeah, okay, you can squeeze a little bit of that. They get a little bit overzealous, as you know, but at the end of the day, man, I would not count on that too much. This is really for more like long-term analysis of health or not health of a rally or fall down. In this case right here, we are seeing a bit of a pullback on open interest. So we do see a bit of prop taking, as you would expect, you know, on an asset that just went up about, you know, $21,000. So could this be the big pullback that I think a lot of people are gearing towards? Perhaps very likely, yes. Actually, we did take out yesterday's low as well on the daily. Not good right there. Not good right there. Next stop, 46. If this one does get a little bit of follow through right here. There you go. There you go, sirs and sirs. All right. Chris DeLisa says, Dr. Krown, sir, what's up, man? Zilliqa, end of the year, long term. Send me to the fucking moon, sir. I can look at this one. I don't really have a crystal ball for the end of the year, though. I got to warn you. Still okay, actually, on the daily. Actually okay for what it's worth on the daily. I would be very, very concerned below about 10.5 cents, though. That'd be my line in the sand on this one, as far as the daily goes. If you're looking at very long term, though, look, I do believe that this month closure, this month being August, is going to reveal a lot. Now, I already have kind of left out my thoughts on Bitcoin, but if we do start to see closures below the 10 simple on the monthly, that's going to be the next sort of majorly concerning thing. Anyways, I can give you both a bullish and a bearish scenario essentially for this, because right now we don't really have the we don't really have the perspective of seeing this monthly closure right here, and it's going to be a big one for Bitcoin as well, mostly for Ethereum actually, which I think is going to kind of drive my own biases. Jesus Christ, man, a lot of alerts going off right there. Anyways, if it does choose the bullish route, which is obviously going to be precipitated by Bitcoin, you probably do see, you know, slightly new highs on the year. maybe somewhere around 30 cents. If things get crazy, 50 cents or so. That would be if this market actually is bullish and the lows are specifically in. Now, if it's not, and this is the actual the bull trap in this case right here, I'll be looking for this one to come all the way down below 2 cents. If that were to happen. So do be aware of your risk, as that's about a 3-month, 3-month time frame from today. Or is it a 3-month time? We've got September, October, November. No, sorry, 4 months. Apologies, 4 months. The quarterly still looks okay right here, so I'm inclined to say this one probably does choose the upside resolution of that. But other than that, man, do I really trust that much in like a long-term analysis on some that, for a chart, I can only get a chart back to 2018? Not really. It's not the worst. I mean, there's definitely worse things out there, no doubt about that. But it's really going to depend on whether whether Bitcoin in the general market is bullish or not. If it is, probably be looking at this one somewhere around more like 40 to 50 cents by end of year. If it does choose a bearish route, I'd be looking for the whole rally to be undone down below 2 cents actually. So do keep in mind where those resolution points are at. I think it's a lot easier to watch Bitcoin and Ethereum, just my personal preferences there. And those areas are well documented as we've been going over, especially in the long-term analysis videos. I really don't have any major concerns on Bitcoin specifically, as long as we're especially about $46,000. But even about $38,000 is kind of like where the macro really starts to come into question right there. Anyways, okay, salmon crunches. Why do I keep on saying salmon? It's salmon. Elsa says salmon. Anyways, could we look at SPS short and long term? Okay. Is this crypto or is this a derp? No, it's a stock. But which stock is it? I'm guessing it's no, it's probably not that, because that is, oh god, don't tell me it's okay. Is it this? I don't know exactly which one you're looking at here, sir. Maybe it's a fucking crypto and it's like only on this thing over here. Let's see. Dare I look at SPS on fucking CoinDerpo over here? Oh god, it probably is Flinterlands. Sir, I gotta warn you, man. If we're looking at fucking CoinDerpo, I don't have a good opinion on this. This thing's been around for literally this thing's been around for a month. I don't have a good opinion on this. It isn't a bit of an uptrend, but I don't have an opinion on this if this is what you're looking at. If you are looking at this, by contrast, we could look at this. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if you have... I see Koala Man there. There he is. If you're looking at this thing, equally as unimpressive as a chart. Fucking terrible chart, man. Fucking terrible chart. I'd be looking for this one to cough up this whole fucking rally back down to like 50 to 53 cent over the next like 3 to 4 months. But I probably think that you're not looking at that one right there, man. Do feel free to come back. Oh, there you go. What's up, Meccan? FTX is punting millions right now. What are they punting into, sir? What's up, Barry? There he is, man. There he is. Let's see. Hey, sir, general look at seller USD on Binance. Okay. Symbol CELR. Dollar right here as requested. And we'll go to Binance. And let's get off the monthly because this one barely has any history. And let's maybe go to a daily in this case right here. Okay, general overview on this one. Again, a rather simple chart actually, but simplicity typically within charts is a good sign actually. At least for trading, that is. At least for trading. Should we record this one? Probably not. I don't know how popular this one is, but okay. So what are we looking at right here? Well, we do have a bit of potential reversal going on, but where is your inflection point? Where's your last higher low is a better question. About not 42 cent, but 4.2 cent in this case right here. Any sort of a breakdown below there, you do a reversal in place. Yes, you will probably see a bounce at 3.85 cent or so, but that's where things do start to get a little bit more menacing for the daily. Now, short-term timeframes do look like they want to test back down around about 4.2 cent within this region. Was that the same area as the last daily low? Yeah, it was. So it is imperative to bounce around there. Otherwise, I do think that you could probably front run a reversal in this case. You do have a somewhat of a reversal going on the 4 hour right here. You do have a high. You do have well, it's not necessarily a low just yet. Let's see. Let's put it on a buy early, and that'll probably be a little more obvious. Yeah, there we go. You do have a high, you do have a low, you do have a lower high right there. This one does look like it wants to grind out the lows once again. I just don't want to see a daily closure below that region, or I mean, unless you want to be bearish on this one, maybe you do. And in that case, I actually would be looking for a greater reversal on this one if that's going to be if that's going to actually happen. But for right now, I'd give it a chance to bounce off of this region. It's completely fine to test within that region. Just need to see daily closures above and keep the Bulaw's hopes alive. But again, best case scenario for Bulaw's, kind of similar to yesterday for a lot of the assets that we looked at, is basically sideways within a range, and it's going to look probably something like this. Spend its time within this range, and then maybe resolution like early September if that is going to end up being bullish. If you do start to crack back down below this region right here and take out the lows, get ready for new lows. Get ready for new lows. Again, probably bounce at around 3.8, 3.9 cents, but overall, I'd be looking somewhere down around about 3.5 before the next potential interesting bounce, which you may or may not be interested in. Anyways, Mark Harrison says, Cardorpio Sire. What's up, man? Yeah, let's go check it out. Let's see what... wait, did we already look? No, we didn't look at this one today. We just addressed the long-term analysis on this one. Again, Cardano is still one of the better charts. Short-term, it looks like, holding up relatively well. But with that in mind, I do think that this... Yeah, we did look at this one earlier. I do think that this one probably does make another stab somewhere down around about 255. The question is, does it hold there or not? If it does fail that region, that's when I start to look for deeper retracements down to about, maybe 230 to 235 or so. But again, long term, I actually still do think that this is one of the better charts in the market for right now. The obvious area, the very obviously bullish area, would be trading back above. Actually, even the 2-spot 414 extension right here would be pretty damn good, or just a trade back of about 278 in this case would look pretty damn good for a sideways and up move to new highs, probably early September. Again, I think best case scenario for Bulaw's in most assets within this market right now, it's not like a fucking moonshot today. It would probably be sideways, probably for the majority of the rest of this month, which is only less than a week from right now, and then resolution probably early September, if that is going to hold true. So. That'd be where the risk is right there. Mr. Tasco wants to look at Cardano versus the Bitcoin pairing. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Let's see, ADA versus BTC right here. And what do we have? You're looking at a what? At a 4-hour and daily. Daily still looks okay, but where's the 4-hour line right now? Yeah, 4-hour. Do we have any divergences to be aware of right here? Actually, potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. Where's our last low? Right here. But that does mean that we can't come a little bit lower before that actually could play out. I don't really have a strong opinion on this one. I do think it's getting ready for a bounce relatively soon. The question is, does it make a stab down to 5,400 Satoshis first, or does it hold up right here? Hourly says it probably actually tries from right here. We do have hourly regular bullish divergence, just 2 drives of variety, so not anything too major right there. I don't see volatility expanding just yet, so that is not the best sign, at least for a short-term reversal. Let's see what momentum also to say over here on this chart specifically. Let's see what the 4-hour and daily say. Daily's down as long as I don't even have enough decimal points for this one right now. I don't intend on putting it either. All right, well, I guess I will have to in this case. So let's do this. Okay, decimals. 6. There we go. All right, we need to close above 5,600 Satoshis in order to turn 4-hour Stokes back onto the upside. Daily would be... yeah, pretty much same level as well. Again, sideways is best case for Bulaw's right here. Best case for Bulaw's, whereas 56, that's actually right back. Actually, in this case, this one does line up incredibly well right here. 5,600 is right in line with your last hourly low or high. Now, it is just fucking hourly, but maybe a 2-hour would be the same. No, it's not. Jesus Christ, man. Cutting it close, man. Cutting it real fucking close right here. But, if that does happen, I would be looking for this one to trade a bit sideways and then back up to about 58. Maybe even, about 5,800 Satoshis, maybe even 5,850, and then probably look for a resolution early next week, something like that. Would be, would be the game right there. However, short, even on a 4-hour time frame, this thing can come down to 52.50 or so, 52.65, and really not do all that much for me. So I'm very hesitant to say anything more on this one. I do know where I'd get bearish on this one. That one's actually rather obvious. 52.50 would be the magical number for that one. Also be below the daily 10 symbol as well, and I could look for deeper retracements down to about 47 to 4,800 Satoshis, but I don't necessarily think that's what's happening right here, man. I still think this is actually okay. We don't have bearish divergence on this one, to be fair, as well. So again, I'm inclined to look at the 5-day, and this is not a bearish chart right here. It's just not a fucking bearish chart for what it's worth right now. Weekly looks a little bit different, but I do put my faith in the 5-day over the weekly in this case, and 3-day is not giving me too much right there. Yeah, not really giving me too much. All right, fair enough. Okay, let's see. Dan Daya says, hey, Krown, what's up, man? All good, man. All good. Ethereum short and medium term? Yeah, we haven't even looked at Ethereum today. Sad. Very sad. Okay, where do we have Ethereum? 3106 right here. And what are we looking at? You're looking at what? Short and medium term, seeing Bitcoin close the hourly below 47,200. How low do you suppose Ethereum will go? Let's see. If you're looking at short-term timeframes like that, where would we be looking at? Very likely somewhere down around about 30.50 to 30.40-ish region, short term. Again, specifically for the short term. Now, if we're looking at a daily, it's going to be a bit different here, obviously. But again, if you're looking at Bitcoin, right? If you're looking at Bitcoin, I do think that CME is the one to be going off of. I closed right there, man. And this was an hourly. We didn't really necessarily even get like a 4 hour around there, or even a 2 hour. I think even on we did get a 2 hour actually right there, right on the 200 simple. Wouldn't necessarily call that a breakdown just yet. It did close above 47,000. So if we go back on to Ethereum as you requested, however, let's see. This one does look a little more breaky downy right now. Let's go check it out on momentum charts here. Let's see if we do start to see like a 4 hour Stokes turn around that. Yeah, that's going to look pretty bad. And what's the magical number on this one? 31.32 actually for a 4 hour closure. So in this case, we obviously trading about $30 below there right now. If that does get confirmed, I would look for a nice retracement actually down to about 30, probably about $3,000 even. See where the daily is aligning. I know you didn't ask for it, but it should be known that we're kind of resting on the daily 21 right here as well. So that is why I'm very hesitant to be front running a breakdown in this case. We do see a lot of major moving averages coming into contact with price action right now. So that would also imply if we do start to lose this region, it is going to be a nice little downside move, more long term. I know you didn't ask about that or ask for that, but I'd be looking for a move towards 3,000 first. Very likely a bounce there. Come back to it after that. I think that's probably the most prudent way to be looking at this one for right now. 5 day would be a backfill right around $3,000 as well. So again, I do hesitate to get like too ahead of myself right there, but that is where the risk would be. Buried Alive says Matic 4 hour daily for the cheap sirs in the chat. Love you. All good, man. All good. Let's go check out Matic, and we got 142.5. Again, 5 day right here. Not bad. Not bad, at least in my opinion. Daily bounced off the 21 right now. It's to be expected. Yes. 4 hour. Okay, we got a bit of a range going on right here as well. We can see that we're coming in contact with the last little 4 hour wick lows. Whoops, wrong one. Let me get this one right here. There we go. Should probably try this one out yesterday. Yeah, there you go. We broke down below this level yesterday. Boom, down to the next level right here. Boom, and well, if this one breaks, I'll be looking at a move towards about 131.5. What time frame were you looking at specifically? Sorry, 4 hour and daily. Okay, gotcha. I also want to check it out over here as well. Let's see, where's my Maddox? There we go, 142. 4 hour Stokes ran to the downside as long as below 146. So it is a healthy 4 cents below there right now or so. Actually more like 3.5 cents below there right now. And volatility is turning up, and this is, in the process of reversal right here. You got your high, you got your low. This would be your lower high. So if this is continuation below that low, well, that is your confirmation of a full-on lower low and lower high in this case. And I would be looking for a move down, about 132 to 131.5. But again, for right now, I'd give it a chance to bounce first. I don't like front running these breakdowns just yet, even though it does look pretty ugly right here. See what it even looks like on a short-term time frame like this, like an hourly. Actually, still heading down very, very healthily below about 152. So that's not happening anytime soon. Bi-hourly, what are we looking at right here? 151.5. Yeah, not looking too up right there. Momentum oscillators do say it probably does break down. But you need to see this breakdown really happen. It's similar to all the other coins that we looked at as well. You really want to see this breakdown happen like intraday, today. You don't want to see it hang around here for a while. If you see it kind of hanging around this level for a while, similar to Bitcoin, similar to Ethereum, similar to basically everything else that we looked at, you're probably going to see a bit of a trappy situation, which again will be confirmed on this one, basically back above about 150 or so, or 152 if you want to be exact. But again, best case for Boo loss is sideways. It's not going to be like a fucking rocket emoji day for what it's worth, man. Nero Strutton says, bruh, Zer, you made your own shirt and it's not a v-neck. Actually, that's a really good point, man. We need to get on that. It is a little bit tight on the neck here too, but it's okay. The quality is nice, actually. Feels good on the skin. Truco Production says, hey brother, what's up, man? Can we look at XLM on a daily and weekly level? Sure. I know it's probably a shat coin, but I'm curious on your take. Well, the thing that kind of stands out to me about Stellar, which actually I've actually been following this one for a very long time. Not that I follow it like every day, but I've been following it ever since it was STR on Poloniex. Is that it actually did have a pretty good run, if I do recall. Did it take out its 2017 high? I think just barely. Yeah, it sold off almost literally right on the dot right there for the weekly. Yeah, that is not good. Yeah, that's not good. Anyways, what time frames are you looking at there, sir? On a daily and weekly. It's starting to look a lot more like a reversal here, man. Jesus Christ. Daily, same sort of thing too. Need to see a bounce here. Otherwise, any sort of a lower low, any sort of a daily closing low below 34 and 30. Sorry, that's to be precise. That's 34 cent spot 30. 34 cent spot 30. Then I would be looking for this one to I mean, you're going to see a bounce along the way, probably at like 32.25 cents, but this one's going to give up a lot of the current rally. Very likely back down below 30 cents, somewhere around 29 to 30 cents or so before the next potential major bounce. This would be essentially the same sort of hint into a golden cross, kind of in this case right here. It's still a little bit farther away into a death cross once again, and that typically does undo the majority of the rally. So I'd be saying somewhere around about 29 cents or so. But here's the thing. I would not front run this reversal just yet. Momentum oscillators, yep, definitely more on the bear side, no doubt about that. We're seeing volatility start to turn up a little bit right here, alongside potentially a lower low, but it's not there just yet. I need to see a closing lower low, and then I'd be very happy to get very bearish on this thing amongst many other things as well. 12-hour just got a golden cross right here. I'm going to be testing it into it, which is typically quite common. 4-hour just got a silver cross to the downside, not fucking good. Usually actually pretty dependable one. But short term is going to test around there, man. I do think it is going to test around about 33.5 cents to maybe even 33 cent even. The question is, where does the daily close? If the daily close below that region, I would be looking for this one to really start to play at a more prolonged downside move. It's going to look pretty bad. And what does Bitcoin look like at that point as well? I mean, Bitcoin's actually still around about $47,000, so it's actually holding this up a lot better, all things considered. But need to see bounce around this level right here. Need to see that. Otherwise, this will look a little bit more medium-term trappy. There you go, sir. All right, cool. All right. There we go. Okay, sorry, just lost my place. My eyes are fucked, man, from looking at screens all day. Noah Saffer says, "Holy crap, Krown! What? I have a bunch of monies in Can at $9. Can it pay off? Is this a weed stock? Yeah, Canon on Nasdaq." Okay, so you bought at $9. Can this pay off? Looks like a bit of a reversal going on right here. Reversal in your favor, it sounds like as well. I do actually kind of like this one. It looks like even the daily jewel is going to give off a bit of a continuation signal there as well. I would be looking at a move somewhere back around about 1040 or so. See what the weekly looks like. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very interesting here on the weekly, and a lot of very important things going on the weekly as well. Okay, you do have hidden bullish divergence on the weekly, and more importantly with that, if this one does close even above the 21 in this case, which is about basically 940 or so, and especially above this area right here, I would say that this is an example of a sloppy inverted head and shoulders in this case. Something like this is what you'd be looking at. And in this case, you could make a measure move based upon that. Actually, I'd make this a little bit lower just because I don't want to get too ahead of myself right here. And actually would have a technical target somewhere around about 14.75, perhaps even all the way up to $15. This actually looks good on the reversal. This actually does look good on the reversal. Monthly, not as interesting on the monthly, but I do think I do think that the weekly's kind of taken over on this one, as is the daily RSI in the more bullish posture as well. And volatility starting to increase there as well. Yeah, I do think that you actually are in a pretty damn good position there. Yeah, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but does look like a nice little reversal going on, sir. Elijah Schmitz, hello, sir. Can you take a look at Dash? Holy shit, man. Yeah, I can look at Dash. I'm curious where the fuck this one is. I'm gonna guess that this one is trending towards 0 on the Bitcoin pairing. And what do you know? Actually, this one's a dead heartbeat, man. This is a fucking dead heartbeat. To reference the talk earlier about Cardano, this is what typically happens when you see a chart like this. It's usually more likely to continue, and this is why it's not wise to front run a reversal until it actually happens. Anyways, as far as your question, daily is actually okay here, but what time frame are you looking at? You are looking at it daily and weekly, actually. I've been following since 2018. Holy shit, man. Awesome. And my pleasure. And good to meet you officially. It's so crazy. Like, apparently so many people here have been here since like fucking 2018. OGs of the goddamn cave. Never said a fucking word. Now crawl out the woodworks 3 years later. Cool shit, though. Cool shit, man. I'm always happy to meet OGs of this cave. Anyways, yeah, man, this one actually looking significantly different. In this case than most things within this market. Now, to be fair, this one is trading versus Bitcoin, so I'd be curious to see what it looks like versus the dollar, but actually pretty decent right here. I do want to see what the short-term timeframes look like. Bit of a short-term timeframe range. I just wanted to look at this so that I can come up with an invalidation point for the idea that I'll present, but 5,000 Satoshis would kind of be my line in the sand. As long as you're above there, I'm generally going to be bullish on this thing for a sideways and upside move back around the highs of, I imagine, this consolidation. Probably the highs of this current rally, somewhere between about just under 5,800 Satoshis and wherever this area is right here, 5,670 or so. Weekly, does that bleed into a greater move? This 55 on the weekly has been your highs ever since 2018. Is that changing around right now? That I don't know. That I'm not so sure. That I'm not so confident about. 5-day looks good though. Yeah, I do suspect that you trade a little bit from here. However, macro, there is nothing bullish about this chart on the macro scale as long as you're below about 70. Well, maybe we could give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's go to a weekly. Yeah, as long as you're below about 7,100 satoshis, nothing macro bullish about this chart. But short term, could it rally up a little bit more? Yes. And I would invalidate this idea completely below about 5,040 satoshis and look for a deeper retracement back down to about 4,700 satoshis. But for right now, one of the more interesting charts. To be fair, gotta give credit where credit is due, of course. What's up, Mr. Almasari from Texas? Nice one, man. SPRT. Is it Sprint? Yeah, it's Sprint, I believe. SPRT. No, it's support.com. What the fuck? All right, you're looking at support.com and you're looking at a 12-hour and daily. A 12-hour and daily on traditional markets not going to look too different. It's literally going to be the same chart, but I need to take a sip of this water, man. I'm damn thirsty right now. I'm just reading a comment right here. This is very interesting. Christian Bulmer says, Sailor just bought a bunch more today. I'm guessing you mean Bitcoin at an average of $45,000. Oh, at an average of $45,000. Interesting. Where are you getting that information? I'm going to say at an average of $45,000, that doesn't make too much sense because, it hasn't really traded towards $45,000 in like a week here. But yeah, it's an average. So fair enough. That does make sense. Anyways, as far as this one goes, I do want to see the weekly on this one. Very, 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 very good right here. Very fucking good. Holy shit. Holy shit. Now you are kind of selling off of your prior highs going all the way back to 2013. That's okay. I wouldn't mind a little bit of a short-term downside continuation move, perhaps around about 13 and a quarter to 1330 or so. See what the short-term time frame say. Short-term time frame is still bullish right here. This one is getting extended, but here's what I'd be looking at. BBWP on the full hour is getting up there. It's about 95 percentile. I probably would be looking for this one to get to 100 percentile before I look for a short-term high on this rally. And then I'd probably be looking for a pullback to that area that I just highlighted right there. But long-term, this is... well, long-term, it's pretty bad. Long-term, it's pretty fucking bad. But this move is very, very impressive, I would say. Where's the monthly looking like? Monthly... I would get macro bullish on a macro reversal, which it does have some signs of that right here. You do see a change of behavior on the volume signature, but that would be confirmed with a closure above $16 by end of this month. For right now, things are looking good. I'd probably be looking for September to pull back, though, probably back to that $13 target or so, maybe a little bit lower than that, depending upon how high this rally gets. But short term, very likely continues a little bit more. You have a bit of a formation going on right here, just flagging out for the short term timeframes. Something like this is what I'd be looking at. Not terrible, not great, but you could make a bit of an extension off this and probably going to be somewhere around the 2 spot in this case, which is going to be actually, holy shit, maybe not. And that's a little bit higher. Probably about $15.5. I'd be a little bit cognizant of of this one, but it's all about the higher term timeframes on this one. I would be looking for a pullback very likely into September, but the question is, where do we close this monthly? Does it close around $16? If it does, I'd be looking for that pullback to very likely get bought before going for like an actual macro reversal, a reversal that would be the first one in 8 years. That'd be rather important, and you could probably target some really, really deep targets after that, but I'd want to see the monthly close first. It is in the cards though, which is rather impressive. Wizard Hack says, BPro USD, let me know if you need me to choke out Bitcoin right now. Let me know if you need me to choke out Bitcoin right now. Go ahead and choke out Bitcoin, sir. It's probably not going to help, but it'll make us feel better about ourselves. Anyways, BPro versus the dollar, and you're looking at what? I'd be looking at the no time frame given. I'd probably be looking at a bounce right here, to be honest with you, at least short term. Again, yeah, we did look at this one earlier. I would be looking at a bounce here first, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. The question is, does it break below about 1.3 cent? If it does, even on a 4-hour closure, I'd be looking for deeper retracements down to like 1.1 cent. But based off the daily right here, not terrible. Sideways is the name of the game. Sideways kind of best case for Bulaws right here, similar to Bitcoin as well. I don't think you're going to see any rocket emojis like today. For example, 5-day, not terrible. Again, I don't necessarily know exactly what time frame you want to be going off of. Momentum oscillators are painting a more bearish picture for what it's worth, though. So do keep an eye on where on where that risk is, because things can fall apart rather nastily here. Again, probably going to be led by Bitcoin in this case, as Bitcoin's got the more easy to define ranges. We got another hour and 7 minutes and 20 seconds on this 4-hour dildo right here. Thus far, not looking fucking good. Not looking fucking good for the Bulaws. All right, let's see. Ragu says, Dr. Krown, thoughts on Luxo on the daily, and also love the quality NFT. Thanks, man. Finally, someone cares. Luxo on the daily. Okay, Luxo. Elsa hates my. Wait, what's the ticker here? Oh, okay. Okay, I guess you do like that. All right, fair enough. Bad. This one's breaking down already, man. Probably a little bit of a short-term bounce right off of your last low side structure from 3rd of August at $10 even. You kind of already got that. Let's see. I think you're looking at a daily though. Yeah, you are on the daily. I mean, you're right on the 200 simple as well. It's very likely to bounce here first, but this is looking like a top right here. Weekly looks like a top, man. This is like the first really trappy, bull trappy chart that I've seen today, or even this week actually. So while I do think that it probably bounces here, you know, look, any sort of a daily closure below 10 and a quarter, I'd be looking for this one to initiate like some actual downside. For next bouncer on the daily would be about 840. And then at that point, I mean, you got to be looking at this one as just one massive trap. Very, very likely. Probably comes all the way back down to $6 after that. This is starting to make me really consider that Bitcoin actually might choose the downside route. As we expect, you know, most things in this market kind of be operating together, but still, you know, I want to see Bitcoin actually do it as well. Again, the areas are very well defined, so there you go. Terrence McKenna, hey, Terrence McKenna, like the LSD guy, the mushrooms guy. Are you him? Would you look at CHSB versus Ethereum? Okay, CHSB, is this Swiss Borg? The fuck is this thing? It is versus Ethereum though. We can look at it versus Ethereum, but man, all right, we'll just look at it versus Ethereum. It's your life, sir. On the weekly, and tell me about the MACD, as it looks like it's going to moon again if it crosses bullish based on past history. Look, making a very simplistic analysis like that is usually not a good way of doing things in my experience. We can look at that though. We can look at that. I mean, again, it is kind of what you want, I suppose. But here we go. I guess we can do this one. Does this one have the history? It does have the history actually, so that is good. Are you going to cross weekly MACD bullish? There is no history of the weekly MACD. There is no history of the weekly MACD, man. So I can't sell you any hopium on that one, sir. Daily MACD, by contrast, turning down right now and lose momentum. That's not good. 5-day MACD is actually fresh turning up. There would be your biggest hopium, but do we have any history of this? Kind of. Not really. Not really. I would not put too much faith in that, man. On this one, it's all about ranges. When it comes to altcoins, man, for the most part, you know, you can look at, especially when they're like, you know, not the high cap altcoins, you know, you can look at indicators and everything. That's great, but it's ranges that are typically going to be the most dependable in my experience. If anything is going to be dependable on these things, for what it's worth, in my experience with altcoins, basically boils down to whatever Bitcoin's doing, they're going to mirror, but just more emotionally. So in this case, if Bitcoin goes down, this one's going to go down more. If Bitcoin goes up, this one probably goes up a little bit more as well. Or in this case, it is quite literally a fucking pump and dump right here. So, you know, are you getting ready for a bit more of a pump on this phase right here? Did we close on new highs? No, we did not. The only way that I really look for another pump phase on this one is with a daily closure above about, what the fuck is this number right here? Whatever this high is right here. I can't even say that number. It's too many numbers. Like is that 3,473,000? Yeah, it is. It is 3,473,000. Or is it? Yes, it is. It is. Okay, I do have that right. My eyes are deceiving me, but yeah, as long as you're below there, I wouldn't even be giving any hopium out for like another pump phase on this thing. This literally is a pump and dump chart. You typically want to stay away from that. Can I tell you about the MACD history? There is no history of the MACD for this one, man. It hasn't been around long enough. I can't sell you hopium in that case. I'm sorry, sir. Lol in your face says Bucks BTC on Lol in your face. That is a great name. Bucks BTC on KuCoin 4 hour daily. Okay, it's an exchange token for what exchange? I don't know any. Bitcoin Bucks sounds legit. Fucking all in, baby. All fucking in. Okay, you're looking at a 4 hour in daily. This is versus Bitcoin, by the way. So you know you can't expect. Oh my god. Oh my god, sir. What the fuck is this? The shitcoin police are going to be busy today. Very bad long term. Terrible chart long term. Whatever this exchange is, I suspect that you, just like I, have probably never heard of it. And it might have a little bit of a short-term upside move here. It's not terrible in the short term. In fact, it's actually pretty good on the short term. You know, you do have these rising bottoms right here. Then again, Bitcoin had that yesterday or a couple days prior and did not respect that. But more importantly, if you do start to break out above about 700 Satoshis, I would look for this one to go for a little bit of a ride to 750 or so, but even, that's just a 4-hour move right there, man. Very difficult to get bullish on this one for a more prolonged move as long as you're below about 760 on a daily. Above there, this one can actually go for a bit of a run. I would start to look for extension of all the way maybe to 1,000 Satoshis or so, but gotta be cognizant of the history here, and the history is not fucking good, man. I'd be very, very skeptical of anything that looks like this, but that would be my condition for that. Of course, to the downside, anywhere below 640 Satoshis, I'd be very happy to get very fucking bearish on this one and look for a prolonged move to the downside over the next month or so down to like 500 Satoshis. But for right now, it actually does show a bit more promise, specifically in the lower term timeframes, not to be confused with the higher term timeframes. But okay, know where your levels are at, and for right now, it's holding it, so okay. But I, based off all these wicks over here, I don't expect that this one trades all that much, man. Mr. Mean Gun says, any thoughts on Cardano 1 hour and 4 hour? We've looked at it like a million goddamn times already. 1 hour down again, still looking down to 152 to 155. 4 hour, same shit. Need to see a bounce there. Otherwise, bad. Otherwise, more down, very likely to about 235 if that were to happen. But for now, I'd be looking for a bounce around there and come back to it very likely tomorrow. Super Googly says, that is a very political question, sir. Oh, sorry. Well, excuse me. There are 2 camps in Hong Kong, one pro-China and the other against. The latter claims that Hong Kong is not part of China. What about Taiwan, though? Can I seek in it? Should we start with that one? Can I seek in another one? Sure, man. Uni BTC. Okay. Daily. All right. Let's see. Unicorns versus the Bitcoins. A lot of Bitcoin parents today, which is rather interesting, but this is probably not the more interesting one. This one's a breakdown right here. Death Cross on the 4 hour. Not a great example of one, so I don't think that this one has like a whole hell of a lot of venom on it. But let's see what the daily is at right now. Yeah, daily probably tries for another short-term bounce off of like 53.50 or so, but I'm not a humongous fan of this chart, man. You do have your lower high right here. You do have a bit of a lower low right there. So I do expect that this one is in the midst of a more long-term downtrend. But the question is, do you put in another bounce into another lower high off of the 5400 level that we just spoke about? Probably, yeah. 5 day is not good. 5 day wants to come back down to 5,000 Satoshis. Yeah, this one's all sorts of sloppy right here. I'm actually having a very difficult time with this chart, but it's a 5 day that's probably the most obvious one. So if you wanted to come up with some ranges right here for the long term, very, very difficult to be bullish on this one as long as you're below 6,400 Satoshis. By contrast, can't really be looking for like the big bad breakdown as long as you're above 5,000 Satoshis. Although I do think that you probably do test down around there. Multiple drives of bearish divergence going on right here. Below this region, I would start to look for some very deep retracements. I don't think that's happening right here, right now. It is going to happen probably like late September if it is going to happen, but down to like 3,400, 3,300 or so. Would look pretty damn nasty. Okay, ICE 32,000 back again. What percentage do you give that we're in a bull market versus being a bear market or a trap? Are you still leaning bullish because of hash ribbons? Yeah, I do still put a lot of weight on that, absolutely. But as we went over, I think it was yesterday or the day prior, and especially over the weekend, if you want to make a bearish case, there's actually one incredibly important and probably the second most important thing to me right now that is still in favor of the bearish case, and that would be the weekly trend. Make no mistake about it. Remember when Bitcoin made a lower low in early July on the weekly? Well, we get to play the game of, is this a lower high in the making right here, or is this actually going to continue on through? And right now, this would be a lower high. It'll essentially be considered a lower high as long as we're especially below about 54 to 55,000 bucks. So that will be within the cards. Yes, the hope is here for the boo laws is that if we do put in a high right here, you probably put in a low somewhere around 41,000 to 42,000 bucks. If that happens, generally going to end up being overall good. If you do start to see Bitcoin below those levels though, or especially below 38,000 bucks, which would have been the hash ribbon's bottom, or 38, more like 38,200, I believe it is. At that point, I would really start to look at this as probably a long-term bull trap. At the very least, Bitcoin coming back down to 33,000 at that point. Probably another bounce there. Could Bitcoin do something like this long-term? Wait, where's my brush? Could be something like this if that were to happen, where you bounce up like that, bounce and bounce and bounce and then break. That would look pretty damn bad. Regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, though, I don't think that this market is going to operate in like one straight line. So if it is going to end up being a bull trap, I do think that it's going to become a lot more obvious once we get that slew of lower highs rather than right here, right now. I do still kind of favor the BULAs long term after a bit of a pullback in this case. And again, I'm very, very hesitant to get bearish on Bitcoin, especially as long as you're below 40, especially as long as you're above 46,000 bucks. And again, do recall that your last higher low on Bitcoin daily is technically 44,500, but 46,000 bucks is going to really start to look like, okay, we're probably going to test down to 42,000 bucks first, or 43, something like that, and then try for another move. So I would not lean towards that just yet, but it is certainly within the cards, as is anything, right? I mean, it's all a game of probabilities and statistics at this point. I just think that a few more of the more high term time frame and things that I put a lot of weight on still kind of favor the BULAs here. Again, this is Bitcoin's realistically first pullback after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of straight up. Is it relevant to think that we can get some pullback right here? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's not a problematic. Just understand where the problematic areas do start to come in contact, because that's where things that's where that sort of conversation becomes back and relevant once again. Anyways, Peter N says, can you take a look at Hex? Oh dear Lord. All right, how's Hex doing? Probably still going up. Oh dear Lord, man. Yeah, that weekly still bullish, daily still bullish. This one's still probably one of the best charts on cryptocurrency land. Holy shit. You could even move up this resolution point now quite significantly. Whoops, wrong thingy right there. There we go. Which would be right around about 17.5 cent. I'd be looking for still upside on this one. This one is essentially just flagging out after a break of its parallel high. Very, very common stuff on declining volatility. I'd still be bullish on this one. Crazily enough, I still think this one probably goes north of 20 cents, probably to 25 cents over the next month or two. Pretty damn good. However, offer up a little bit of a other look on this one. Any sort of move below 17.5 cent, I would look for this one to actually play out some deeper retracements. But this one is probably the least correlated to Bitcoin. I don't think it's positively correlated. I don't think it's negatively correlated. I think it has no correlation to Bitcoin. It's doing its own thing. And Resolve, then welcome to the cave, man. Let's see. Oh, wow, shit. How'd you miss? Oh my God. What the fuck? We're 2 hours into the stream already. What the actual hell? Okay, well, I think we're actually very, very close here. Anyways, EasyX says, Dr. Boomy, that's right. Your nurse's laugh makes my day, thank God. Might as well, sir. You should keep her around. And she's great, isn't she? In the meantime, how about a... You're the derp nurse, sir. How about a derp on NVIDIA? Okay, 1 in 4 hours. Yeah, we can look at that. CDA, okay. NASDAQ. Very good. Very fucking good. Holy shit. One of the best charts we've seen today. I'm just looking at a daily and weekly right there. I do expect that this one's probably gonna have new all-time highs in September. Holy shit! Look at that. 4 hour continuation, man. Can we make out some continuation targets right here? I think that we can actually. You already had your little consolidation at the 1414 and 1272. I'll be looking for this one to make a leg up towards 235, maybe even 250 in September, maybe October. Something like that. Hourly uptrend holds as long as you're above 217. This is good. Very fucking good. Very good right there. Buy hourly. Short term could pull back down to 220.5. No problem. I don't see anything concerning about this, especially as long as above 215.25. Below there, yeah, I'd be looking for a bit of a pullback. Probably retest a breakout somewhere around about 208, 209 region. But for right now, continuation is the name of the game. Looking very good. Very fucking good. Daniel Garcia says, can you check out VXRT 3-day? Sure. VXRT. This thing? Vax Art? Okay. All right. 3-day specifically. It actually does look like it's getting ready for a move right here, probably to about $11, but long term. Oh man, it's fucking bad long term. Holy shit, that's bad long term. That is absolutely terrible long term. But yeah, short term probably does make a move around $11 or so. I probably wouldn't trust it much more than that. Let's see, maybe you're talking about this or something. Or is this the same thing? It is the same thing. Yeah, I do think it has a bit of an upside move right there, but long term, not so hot, man. Not so hot. DK says, sir, AVAX USD, 4 hour daily weekly. Okay, we can look at that one. AVAX, whoops. X, let's derp. Okay, maybe we record this one too. I know that this one's rather popular. Let's go to a daily, and you are looking at a 4 hour daily weekly. Okay, let's come up with a 4 hour right here. Oh, nice. All right. Here we have AVAX requested by Mr. BK. He's looking at 4-hour daily and weekly. Okay, actually 4-hour short term, very likely coming down, testing somewhere around the 55 in this case, about 40 bucks and 60 cents. Need to see a bounce there though. If it does start to fail below that region, you will actually have an official downtrend as that will be taking out your last low on the 4-hour, and I would extend targets significantly to the downside. Probably somewhere around about 33.5 to 34 bucks. See if that lines up with anything on the daily. No, actually. In fact, it doesn't. Daily would be a little bit lower, to be fair. Anyways, for what it's worth, actually one of the better charts that we've seen today, to be fair. Weekly. Holy shit. Okay, maybe not the weekly. Weekly looks a little bit toppy. 5-day, same thing as well. I'd still give this one a bit of a chance on the short term. I'd want to see the reaction off this level right here. If you can start to trade sideways and up, and specifically back up above your last little breakdown area, 50 bucks and 75 cents, I would look at this one as very likely to, well, not just retest per all-time highs, but very likely make new all-time highs. Monthly, I'm not bearish on this chart on the monthly, at least as it is right now. Any sort of a closure above 41 bucks is going to look very, very good coming into September. Might be a sideways month, but overall, I'd be looking for an upside resolution later this year with new highs implied. Momentum charts, anything obviousness over here as well. Short-term time frames are doing what? Are all the way down there. Will be twisting 4-hour stokes back onto the upside with any sort of closure above 49 bucks. Daily is showing 55.25, and weekly is showing 11.90 right now. So that actually does look like it wants to trade a little bit of downside here. I would be looking for a short-term downside move, very likely a bounce off that 40 to $40.50 level. Come back to it a little bit later. If you start to fail that level, that's going to be your first major warning signal, not just for lower prices short term, but this one probably coughing up a good amount of its current rally. But for right now, I'd give it the benefit of the doubt and at least let it, or give it a chance to bounce right around there. Is our momentum also over here giving us any sort of insight? No, if anything, volatility is increasing on this downside move for 4 hours. So that would not be good right there. But I'll still give it a chance to bounce and then come back to it perhaps tomorrow or the day after that and see what the result is. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go, sir. Daniel Garcias. Oh, wait, nope. We just got that one. Oh, no, we just got BK too. All right, last one. David Davian says, can you have a look at Tezos? Sure. What is the... Oh, man, I've forgotten the ticker on this one. It's like... Well, whatever, I can just type in the name. We'll look at Tezos versus the dollar. Yeah, we'll cover this one as well. This one's actually rather easy. Here we have Tezos, requested by Mr. David Davian, and we are going to be looking at this one just in general, as no time frames were given. Anyways, first thing that kind of sticks out to me, all major movement averages bullish right here. Major volume in that last spike to the upside above the 200 simple. Lovely. And while it is getting a bit of a pullback, which is to be expected, I would be looking for a bounce probably somewhere around about 435 or so. See if that lines up with the short-term time frames. It does. That is exactly in line with the 4-hour 21 and the 4-hour 10 simple within that region. So a little bit of a short-term pullback. As you can see right here, volatility did spike all the way up to 100 percentile on BBWP. So, pullback to be expected right there. Sideways and down on this one, but long-term, I actually do kind of like this, especially as long as it's closing daily totals above about 413.5 specifically. Momentum charts over here. Let's see. It's USD. What do we see right here? I guess Finex actually is one to go to. That's a weekly. That's not relevant towards what we're talking about. Daily is downside angled as long as below 490. So again, best case scenario for short term and medium term, I would be looking for sideways and down. 4-hour actually freshly twisting down. So this is a little bit more nasty right there. Do not want to see it fail below about 432. About 432 to 433 or so. If you do see it fail below there, I would be looking for an extension of the downside move to about 395 and look for a bounce there. And at that point, I believe that coincides, that does start to destroy the daily look on this one. So I would actually start to look for this one to probably cough up the majority of this rally if that happens. But until then, I still do like the daily. I suspect that the 5-day is okay in this case. 3-day, very, very good closure right there as well. I do think that it'll bounce off that level and probably trade sideways and up from there, but I don't think that you're going to be seeing anything super interesting like today or tomorrow for that example, maybe like early September, if anything. Hourly down as well. So short-term down, medium-term sideways, if you do want to be bullish, and then hope for the upside resolution on there, and hopefully that was helpful, sir. Nice one. All right, should we go back onto Bitcoin, wrap this bitch up before we leave you off and go on our merry way? 48 minutes and 14 seconds left for this 4-hour dildo close, and it's looking a little bit nasty right now. Still not getting a bounce off the 4-hour 55 on CME right here, which is a little bit more concerning. This one actually has 2 hours and 58 minutes left to go. But for right now, if we do see spot price action close down around here, I'd be looking for this one to trade again, somewhere down around just below 46,000 bucks, and look for a bounce there anywhere around the daily 200 simple and 21 exponential average right here. That's where things, at least in my opinion, for the medium-term timeframes need to hold. Otherwise, we will see significant retracements down to like 42.5, anywhere around there before the next sort of legitimate bounce. And better hope for Bulas that is going to be an actual bounce, because if we do start to fail below there, that's where the long-term does start to come into a little bit of an issue. Now, of course, should also go over the potential bear trappy scenario. It's not there right now, to be fair. Like, it's very fucking far away from right now. It's just a little bit hopium speak right here. But if you do see an hourly, even just trade back above the high of this morning at 49.3 or 49.4, that looked very, very good for a retest of the highs and very likely new highs on this run. By the same token, anywhere back above about 48.6 on a buy hourly closure could be, we could probably use an hourly in this case as well. I'd probably say the same thing, but for right now, pressure onto the downside, all momentum also is turning down, and volatility turning up on what is a confirmation of a downside move right here. I mean, here's your high, here's your low, here's your lower high. We already have lower lows. I mean, if you want to be conservative, you wait for the closure on that, but volume pouring in on this 4-hour dildo does not look very likely. I do think Bitcoin will very likely trade to the downside here. Anyways, with that said, I am going to be signing off. I need to eat some food, get some lifting in, and then I'll be back on tomorrow for some more live stream analysis. Take care. I want to wish you well, and hopefully see you very, very soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename.